Welcome everybody to Thursday Night Forum. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome to the Arsenal Fan Circle. And let's get into it. It's the Thursday Night Forum. Let's talk real rotation required after the Man City game. That is, Gary. We got 49 days, Gary, between Sunday and the end of the season, and maybe 14 or 15 games to come, hopefully.
Yeah, 14, no, 15, definitely. You want 15. 15 is a lucky number. Yeah. No, it's good.
For the double.
As I've been saying all season, just the most important game. That's all. The next one, okay?
Next,
we can't be looking to any game but the next one. We don't really have for the squad to do that. So every game's going to be an adventure, or as you like to call it, a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
So no, it's gonna be interesting. Arteta's gonna have to put, he's gonna have to use some different ingredients. He cannot. I repeat, he cannot depend on just a standard, his regular starting 11. That's not gonna work. He's gonna have to mix and match things accordingly. And get the most out of the entire squad, not just what some would consider the best 11. He just doesn't have. We don't have the. This run isn't gonna. The run's not good for anybody. But that's why you have to have depth. So he's gonna have to figure out. He's gonna have to expand his horizons and use his depth on a regular. Especially when we get into the Champions League. Those fixtures and the games around it are all important. So you can't play the same players. I think we play. Is it something like 7 games in like 21 days or something like that? A game every 3 days. So he's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be good with his management.
Yeah, definitely. We are gonna have 3 games a week, Stan, and. We're going to need to have, like I said, real rotation required after the Man City game, that is, because I think we're coming into this game at the Etihad with 8 wins behind us. We got wind in our sails, but we've been winning games within 60 minutes and being able to rotate. It's going to be a little bit of a different animal, this run-in, Stan.
Yeah, just first of all, good evening to everyone. Evening, Gary. Evening, Ray. Shout out to everybody that's joined us in the chat box. Miss Melina, BX Gunner, Canterbury Gooners in there. Stefan's in there. Michael's in there. Welcome to everybody, those that are listening. This is it now, isn't it? There's nowhere to hide. This is it. D-Day. It's time to shit or get off the pot. Can't hide anymore.
Yeah.
This is it. These are the games that we should be looking forward to. This is the test now. It doesn't come any bigger than the match that we have in a couple of days' time. It just does not come any bigger than that. Win, then it puts us in a really good stead to win the title. Lose, not so much. Draw, still dicey. Dicey, because I'm sure we're going to talk about it coming up, but I'm sure we're going to look at the run-in that us, Man United, Manchester City and Liverpool have, and who's got the tougher running, and the points are going to be very vital from here and in. Very vital for every point. And it's for us, it's the big test. This match is either going to shape our season or Manchester City's, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, welcome everybody. Old school Gooners here as well. Stefan, Miss Melina, Michael, BX, ready. We're getting a good showing in here. That means that Gary, people are reawakening after the intersleep, and we're ready for some football this weekend, Gary.
Yes, and I was rude to our guests. Hello to everybody in the chat. Let's see. I'll just go through the looks real Christmas. Big Gunner, Miss Melina.
I've done it, man.
Ready. Yeah, I wanted to do it myself, old school Gunner, because I didn't do it first. So. Yes, you did it correctly.
All right, then I've got to do it after that. Yeah,
for last time. Michael and Brownie joins us. Welcome, and Stan and and Ray.
It'll be 2 hours of introductions and 2 hours of this is the biggest game yet this season ever in the history of time. So listen, yeah, thanks Gary, thanks Stan for welcoming the crew, everybody in the chat box. Um, where do we start with this one, Stan? Man City coming in. Well, we're coming to Man City. All right, here's where we go with this. Man City, since the 6th of December, they're unbeaten. They've won 10 games and
Mhm.
drawn 3 games. But I don't believe it's the Man City that would reel off 14 games or 12 or 14 games in a row. They are prone and suspect to dropping a point here and there.
It's going to be interesting to see which way we go. Are we just going to continue in exactly the same formation and players that we did before we had our, this self-imposed exile? That is the fucking international break. Or is Mikel Arteta, is he still in that phase where he goes to sleep every night in the week leading up to the Man City fixtures, where he's tossing and turning at night and he's getting up at night and he's going up to the whiteboard that he has at the end of his bed and he's rubbing everything off and he's starting it all again, taking a look and then going back to sleep, because sometimes we've noticed in seasons gone that he can be a little bit too cool for school and he'll try to overthink it a little bit. So I'm wondering whether he's kind of got over that, and it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Are we going to have a formation where Jorginho has been playing quite a part and coming into the team in some sort of fixtures? Who's he going to use going through the middle? Are we going to be sticking with Kai Havertz? Or is he going to go back to who maybe a more tried and tested Gabriel Jesus? It's going to be one of those two, right? I would imagine. Or there is also a third shout in Trossard. We just don't know. It's very difficult for us to sit here and say we know what he's going to do. We can all tell each other what we would like to see, but to say this is what Mikel's going to do, it's very hard to predict.
I think we've gone past the days of trying to be too cool for school now.
I mean, is Partey fit? Is Partey ready to start a game yet? No. There was a behind closed doors, wasn't there, game that happened, but that was mainly put on to help give some of these players that are coming back minutes. Is Gabriel Martinelli fit for this one? I'm not sure what's happening with his situation, with the cut on his foot. So it's going to be very interesting to see which way he goes. Left back. Right. Is he going to continue with a Kivior or is he going to put in a Zinchenko?
Will be KG Affairs says ready like the first leg decided by close margins, and I think BX is talking about the United Arsenal of old. That kind of we're getting those kind of vibes. Gary, what's your sense of who's going to be fit for Arsenal? Martinelli is doubtful still, right?
Tomiyasu's in training as well, as Melina says.
Tomiyasu's back. Yeah. Martinelli's got that gash on his foot. Partey, we can't go with Partey at the Etihad again, in my opinion. Like last time, Partey was not fit, not ready to go. So, what do you think, Gary?
He's like I said, he's going to have to utilize all of his squad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that might mean that some players, they might start every game, but they won't finish every game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like 90-minute games for some of the players should be a rarity for some of them. When, for example, Jorginho, he can't play 90 minutes for a week of games. 90, 90, 90. I don't think he can do that. So Arteta's going to have to be a little ingenious in how he utilizes it.
Managed, yeah.
I mean, he can play every other game, but until we figure out what happens when he's not starting, and Partey can't give you, for me right now, he might be able to give you a half, 45 minutes, but I don't think.
Is he going to be match sharp enough to go into a fixture against Man City? Do you know what I mean?
No.
That could be a blunder.
Oh, I don't. No, we don't. It's the first game. The first game.
Gamble.
The first game shouldn't take anybody who's not played in any of in the last 10 games. So yeah, so it's not even worth even thinking about that one. I doubt that's going to happen. I'll be surprised if it happens. Just to say that, because as you said. No, Partey healthy is fine. Partey Not healthy is what you saw last season when we played City at the end of the season.
How would you feel
Um,
if an hour before kickoff, Gary, you pick up your phone to see the starting lineup and you see Thomas Partey's in the midfield?
that
Not
hopefully means
happy.
that would hopefully mean that he's healthy.
Yeah,
That's what that
but
would have to
you
be.
wouldn't. You
It's not
wouldn't
about,
feel
That would
it's not
be
even
that
so
would
much
be the
about him
only.
being fit, is it? It's more about match awareness, the sharpness, Do you know what I'm getting at? He hasn't played in
Yeah.
fucking ages. It's not about him
Mhm.
being able to last a period of time. It's like,
Yeah.
doing his job right at top peak level against Man City. Is he up to that level yet?
Yeah,
Dunno.
like I said, I don't expect
No.
much change in this first game coming up because everybody outside of people we know, Martinelli is really the only player I think that's of a concern to us. Gabriel, I think, was precautionary, I believe. At least in my eyes, I think that's precautionary why he didn't play. Otherwise, I think, Saka, same thing. Saka always plays. So it'd be a surprise to not see him play because those are the only. So really and truly, it's just
I think it's fair.
Martinelli that hasn't really
Mhm.
played much, and I don't. Is it just a cut? If it's
Yeah, I
just a
guess
cut, then is there something else that they didn't, let us know? Once again,
I
it's a
think
cut
it'd be
on another.
fair. I think it'd be fair to say outside of Martinelli, we may have a clean bill of health. You know what I mean? And we
Well,
may be
we
able
don't
to.
know. We
Mhm.
actually don't know.
We have less
No, we don't know. We don't know about
question mark.
Saka, and we don't know about Gabriel.
Is Saka injured? Is he?
He didn't. He went to the England camp and then came and left early, like he did the
Yeah,
last time when he needed
yeah.
to
I
not
think
go in
that
the
might be
first
just
place.
a precautionary thing, though.
Well, like I said, that
Alex
gives
Ferguson
you some
style.
doubt, right? We know Rice is fine because he actually played
Mhm.
all 180 minutes, which I think is ridiculous. But
Yeah,
He's pretty
um,
robust, though, isn't he? Rice. He seems very
yeah.
robust
right.
as a player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Durable.
but he doesn't need to. He's if the man's going to be your captain in the second game, he doesn't need to start the first one. You know what I mean?
tell that to
More about
Gareth.
tiredness with Rice, isn't it? More about if he's tired, jaded.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's just it's
Um.
playing for no reason in my eyes. You should be trying to figure
mm,
out if you have any players that need like for me the key things about those two games should have been Tony and Watkins. Which one of those two is going to work within your system.
Yeah. As BX Gunner says, Gary, we need to stick to the formula, and the formula has been what got you here in these 10 games.
Well,
We-
I think that formula worked because we had in most cases, you know, you know, 6 days between games, 7 days between games. Essentially, it's going to be so congested now. It's not even the same as what we
Well,
just went
you
through.
have to start. You have to start with your best side.
No. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying, you have to make sure you're setting up your best team to play in the bigger games.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, and this
I mean,
first one is the
we have a
biggest.
lot of games with teams that should not require us to have to put in our number 11, our first 11 basically.
Right. Shout out to Lawrence is here. Highlights. It's Lawrence. I have a new Twitter account, so I'll check it out, Lawrence, and
Right, Lawrence.
get you.
I have I have a question for the both of you, and not just for the both of you, but everybody in the chat box as well. Because obviously, as we've just discussed, we can't nail on what we think Mikel Arteta is going to do, right? Because he can be a bit maverick. But let me ask everybody, right? If you've got a fit Kai Havertz and a fit Gabriel Jesus, who are you starting through the middle for this next game?
Kai Havertz, no question.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no question about it.
Wow,
Kai
you're
Havertz.
nailed on.
If
for you,
if everybody's talking about sticking to the formula and not really messing up what's already been working for as long as it's been working, why are you going to change that? This is the same thing we did. Remember, this is the same thing we ran into last season. Trossard was playing fine. Next thing you know, Trossard's out the lineup, and then we struggled in games because what we had built up was gone. So
Yeah,
there's no reason to bring Jesus. You bringing Jesus into a City match is just you're playing with fire.
You're asking for trouble.
But it could be a situation that if Martinelli isn't good to go, could Gabriel Jesus be the one that takes Martinelli's place?
I'm fine with that.
Why does Trossard get bumped?
Sorry,
Why
Gary?
should Trossard get bumped?
I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
No, but why? No, but you're bumping Trossard. Why should Trossard get bumped?
I mean, I agree with you, Gary. Why should Trossard get bumped? But Gabriel Jesus could do a job for you on the left.
Yeah, but once again we're going to go against the grain now.
Well,
You've been
this is just
playing fine with Trossard.
how do you know that's going to happen? We don't know that's going to happen, Gary. So
Michael says he fancies Jesus instead of Martinelli.
If we don't know what anything's going to happen, so why are we talking?
we do know what's going to happen. I can tell you the team right now. I can tell you the team right now.
Now you know.
Yes.
Let's hear it then.
All right. Without Martinelli, here's the team. Right? Are you ready? I'm going to go David Raya.
I'm all buckled
Cousin
in.
Ray.
David
right
Raya in goal. Kivior left back. Gabriel Magalhaes with Saliba and Ben White. Jorginho and Rice with Odegaard in midfield. Trossard, Havertz, and Saka. If Martinelli doesn't go.
So why are you being combative with me?
I didn't say it. Why
are you being combative with me when
Stan
is the one who wants to sit Trossard?
Stan did that.
You're
I didn't
fighting
do that.
with me though.
Don't drag me into
it. No, you were fighting with me, Gary. You were fighting with me because I had the temerity to go along with Jesus on the left side over Trossard.
And then 5 seconds later, you're like, Jesus sits. I don't get this.
I just because I wanted to quell this conversation because
it's temerity code for balls.
I don't think there's I don't think there's a situation where Jesus gets in over Trossard. I believe anyway on the left hand side.
Jesus getting in is the same as like Partey getting in.
So you're saying? So then I'm hearing from you two that
Jesus got a better chance than Partey of starting.
I'm hearing from you two then that with everybody fit, that Jesus has kind of lost his place as a main starter and is a bench player. Is that right?
Yeah, he's not healthy.
Don't tell Jesus that. Jesus, fuck. I mean, Jesus.
He's not ready to start. It has nothing to do with what if Jesus.
I'm saying if everybody's fit.
If Jesus and Partey, if Jesus and Partey are
everybody's fit.
And Michael agrees with you.
He's not going to be fit. We've seen the little bits of him. He's
I never
far
said
from
yet.
being fit.
I haven't said. I never said I wanted Jesus to start, did I? I never said that. When did I say that?
One of your cards.
I never said nothing.
Never said nothing. Kevin De Bruyne needs to be on lockdown, and Rodri needs to be baited into some bookings. Walker is a walking meltdown waiting to happen.
Haven't they got about 7 players that are out? I was reading. You know, 7 players out.
Yeah, it's easier to talk about them. Stones and Walker did not train, said Miss Molina on Thursday. Unsure if either will play at the moment. And those are the 2 most likely to be out of the lineup. Even Ederson trained, and he was supposed to be out till they said the end of the month, but you wouldn't have thought that he'd be back this quick. Bank holiday weekend, need to eat loads of chocolate and calm the nerves. Yeah. So
can I just say, I'm with Canterbury Guna when he says Jesus needs to step up big time. He hasn't shown that ruthlessness yet in big games.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that he could still be in the team. You know, there's still a place for him in the team. He doesn't necessarily need to play in that position, but there's still a role for him, I think, in the team. Because as BX says, he says Jesus always plays hard and hustles. There's no question about his commitment. And sometimes you need a little bit of that. And I just take it back. I just take it back to that goal that he set up for Martinelli, where he was quite deep, and he wins the ball back, and then he does a half turn and releases Martinelli. I mean, sometimes having a player that can do that and unlock players like that could be key.
Gabriel Jesus played hard and hustled when we lost to Man City 4-1 in the spring of last year.
Yes, he did.
And we still lost 4-1. And it was not all of his fault. You know, some of it was down to the injuries we had between Tomiyasu and Saliba. We had.
So what you're saying then, right? So what you're saying then, we have Jesus on the bench, and if after say like 60 minutes, it's not happening for Havertz, we do a swap.
Yeah.
Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Michael also does fancy Jesus instead of Martinelli.
Wow, is that even if Martinelli's fit?
all of this. Well, no.
No,
If
he says
Martinelli,
Well, how are
instead
you
of.
answering for
He's
people?
saying he
You
says
have no
instead
clue
of.
what people are saying. You
But look,
speak
he
for you
says
don't
that
speak for the
he.
masses.
I'm just
You
reading
speak
that
for
Michael
Ray.
says that he would fancy Jesus instead of
okay,
Martinelli.
Michael, confirm or deny that what Stan has said there. And I think he might be just saying if Martinelli is out, then he's going to go with Jesus. You know what I mean? Jesus holds the ball up well. Also, he's like Bergkamp, in my opinion. He has to play. That's yeah,
He's
up
like
against that
Bergkamp, but without the
Man
goals.
City, huh?
Like Bergkamp, but without the goals.
Well, without the goals, exactly. Um,
It's the one
Different
part of
team
the game
these days and has trained. BX says he's actually not nervous at all for this match. I'm relishing this clash.
Yeah, me too. This is it. This is where we want to gauge ourselves. We can't hide from these games. This is what
Yeah.
it's all about. If you're a footballer in Arsenal, you want to play this game, you say, well, how good am I? How good are we? Let's find out.
But will you? So you're ready for the game, Stan, on Sunday?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Yeah.
I might go to the pub even at
Yeah.
8:30 in the morning. I might.
Yeah. Gary, how are you feeling for it? I mean, we got to wait the whole weekend here till it starts, till the game
Yeah.
starts, right?
No, I always go by kind of how we were playing, going into the break, and hopefully all that's happened is that we've gotten healthy. Players have gotten healthier and rested, right? I mean, so that's the key thing for us. Gabriel is rested. He didn't play at all, so I think Ben White is definitely rested. So yeah, and hopefully Saka as well. So I think we know what's coming at us right now. Nothing should surprise us. Everybody's not healthy, but guess what? More than likely, everybody will play. I'll be surprised to see who doesn't get in that lineup for City, right? Because right now it could be uh, Walker, Stones, could be Edison. We don't know. So we should expect to play their best, and then if they have weaknesses in terms of the replacements, then we just take advantage of it. That's going to be that's what you do. I mean, when we played City prior to this season, you can count on your hands how many times we were missing players that were deemed necessary for us to get some success there. So when we played them, so we're not in that situation this time. We have most of our players, and even if we go to some of our backups, we know that they can play as well, right? So we don't have to worry. Our back line is pretty much sorted out. Our midfield is pretty much sorted, right?
Yep.
Not really good. We're not really changing that. It's just a matter of who plays in the middle, right? And we know, so.
Stefan is stealing Tony's line here, but Tony's not here, so it's absolutely legal, Stefan, to do this. Jesus is playing this Easter. New era is being ushered in, and Jesus on
I thought
Easter
if you
Sunday is
can go
money.
back to Adams, if you can go back to Adams Brownie's,
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
He makes a very good point because I think that there's been a period of time where teams, or I think, already subscribe to, well, this is a game that if we'll lose the 3 points here, and they plan ahead, they don't even think about it. But recently, I think teams are beginning to have a go now at Man City, and we have seen lesser teams have a go at City because the manager's been able to con his team into thinking, fuck it, we've got nothing to lose. And it's paid dividends. They've managed to nick points here and there. And more teams are seeing that happen. And I think more teams are now having, even though they're the quadruple winners, teams are willing to have a go at Man City now, rather than just thinking, well, we're going to lose this one, but we'll bounce back in the next fixture, and having this as they're trying to write those games off before they even happen. So they have that to contend with now, which means that the running for them isn't going to be all sweetness and light like they've had in the past, because teams are willing to have a go.
Yeah, exactly. Of the 10 wins and 3 draws, a lot of those were 1-0 wins, very, very close affairs for Man City when they weren't playing well. And Chelsea came there and attacked them and took the game to them. going ahead 1-0 through Sterling, and Man City needed a very late equaliser. And Liverpool at Anfield,
Liverpool have also looked the same as well. You know,
yeah,
they've been winning games, but you look at the game and you're like, wow, how did they win that one? You know, for most of that game, the opposition looked more favourable, but they had the wherewithal and the experience to nick it at the end.
and
And that
that's
is a little bit unusual for both of those teams, right? If,
You
if,
know,
yeah,
any-
the one thing,
if anything, that's how we used to play a little bit, coming out of games like that, right? Whereas
yeah,
now we're the opposite. We go into games and we're in there from the word go, from the first whistle, getting early goals, dominating teams very early. I mean, the stats don't lie. We've scored the most goals
no,
and let the least in.
the
Thank you very
metrics,
much.
yeah, the metrics do
So,
not lie.
so
Gary,
how is
yeah,
how's that gonna? How we need to somehow continue to do that for the remainder. And if you look at the running, we've definitely got the hardest running for me.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely got the most
yeah,
difficult.
yeah. What say you, Gary?
I was going to say the one thing that City and
Definitely.
Liverpool have are their experience, and they don't have to play their A game to get results. I mean, based on what we've seen this season, right? We've seen City win 1-0 games. We've seen Liverpool come back and win games. That's
Scraping through.
that's one of the things that big teams do, especially
Yeah,
teams are going to need to do that for
win
the rest of
ugly.
this season. So we're gonna we can't make mistakes, and that's the key thing for us. And we have to take care of our chances. We can't be missing these chances that we've had in the past. Like we got to go, you know, we should hopefully use what we just did for the last 8 games or whatever it is, and finish teams off. We get in front of the goal. We need to put the ball away. So I mean that's going to be key for us, especially we need to get more players in. And the only way we can do it is if we score goals. I mean, it would suck to have to bring players in to rotate, to rotate or to put some players in and give some other players some rest or actually some time on the field and not come away with all 3 points. So like I said, 3-point hunting. We got to get 3 points in every game. Hopefully, we can't be looking ahead. We don't have based on the experience as a squad, as a manager, and all of that, to go. You know what? We'll get it back in the next one. I'd rather set the marker and let everybody chase us down than have to go do the chasing again. We did a good job, going from where we were to finish top of the league. We need to keep it there and just hold on.
Well, this raises a good point, and it plays into what Stefan has there on the screen. A decent team will always scrap out a result, and it's got me thinking that in this running now towards the end of the season, if we start finding ourselves in situations where we're getting smothered a bit by the opposition, are we going to have the wherewithal to finish it at the end and get some of these scrappy wins that may be required? Or are we going to find ourselves being in a position where we're not able to play the way that we can play, and before we know where we are, the
Yeah,
final whistle blows and it's a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 loss. Do you know what I'm getting at? Are we going to have the wherewithal when things aren't going our way to get, as Stefan says, a decent team will always scrap out a result? We might need to do that.
I don't know about a decent team.
We might need to draw from that well at some point.
Yeah,
good, a great
I don't
team.
think I don't think a decent team will scrap out results.
United used to do it. Scruffy wins.
They're
Ugly
not
wins.
a decent team. They were considered a good team. A good team will scrape out results. Because if you're a decent team, that means you're hovering in the mid-table. I don't think that's where.
I think he means good team as well when he says decent.
Okay,
You know what I
he
mean?
didn't say good team. Once again, I'm just reading what the man said, and you're translating it into
Stefan,
something else.
Gary's
He said-
trashing you right now, Stefan.
No, you want fights. That's what you want. You want confrontation.
No, one of the chat box said decent, and you're haggling over.
What he's basically saying that, teams that go through the season and even, big teams, even when they're under the cosh and things aren't going their way, they somehow manage to change things and find a way out of it and scrap that scruffy goal that's been scuffed over the line at the very end to still walk away with 3 points. But the history books, when you go back and look at it, it doesn't say, yeah, those guys were under the cosh, man, and they got a scruffy goal at the end. It just says they won, they got 3 points. They won the league.
Mm-hmm.
So
the record book.
That's what I think the sentiment is there. And we need to be able to, if we need to draw from that well between now and the end of the season, we need to know that we have to be able to do that. It's not all going to be our way. Not everyone's going to allow us to play the way that we want to play, right? Someone's going to put a spanner in the works, and we need to have the answer.
Yeah, Stefan said, don't think the league will be determined on Sunday. Other games will be pivotal. Still the same 3 points each match. This is the
last 6-pointer amongst the top three.
It's
so for me,
man.
It is a pivotal. Yeah. Whoever can get the win,
psychological.
You not only psychological, but like you look at the table and everybody's looking down at you, right?
You don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that dangerous position of being 2 points behind City and 3 points behind Liverpool if you lose. Yeah. Very quickly you can go from first in this league to third with the 3 teams right now that are in it.
What I mean by psychological is, we've been playing so good of late. The Champions League game at Porto notwithstanding, but other than that, we have played good of late. And so, if we go into that Man City game and then all the players are really confident in that, and for God forbid it goes the other way and we come out of that and get humped, it could really damage the players' confidence going into the next game and the game after that. Where you're starting to, you start to realize maybe we're not as good as we thought, and you start to second guess, and that's what I'm saying. Is psychologically, this is a big deal. This is a big deal in so many different battles here, so many different ways. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see where we are. I can't wait to gauge where we really are on this journey, because I think this game is going to give us answers.
Yeah, it will give us answers big time. Brownie's given very, very considered analysis, which is very unlike Brownie right now. It says around about Easter time, you do usually get an upset here and there from a relegated, one of those teams in the bottom half of the table. It's normally a threat. Relegated threat, and club puts a spanner
out of nowhere. That team that you think on paper that you should cream, but that team's got so much at stake, and all of a sudden, before you know where you are, you've lost 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah, you go a goal down. Exactly.
Arsenal's experienced this over the last 2 seasons, finishing up the last 10 games, right? Southampton, Nottingham Forest are games in the recent season where we're expecting to win those, and we didn't win those. So so we have the experience in terms of what not to do.
Exactly.
We need to see. We need to cross the line now.
We're Thomas Edison now, Gary.
I'm not nervous. I feel like I'm on the same path I have been all season. Can we just win the next one for me, please?
Right.
Because we're talking about what would be preferred. Let's go into the City match having not lost any games. Cool, but let's also just make sure we win the next game. Yeah.
Can I ask you two just outright? Do you two believe that at this stage that we're going to win the league? Just be honest. Do you think we are?
If I put my house on it, right? Is that what you want me to do? I would say no, because we have the 2 big fixtures I'm looking at is away. Well, actually 3 big fixtures. This one on Sunday, and then away to Tottenham and away to Old Trafford, and we've got to win all. We've got to win 2 out of 3 of those.
I believe it's possible because it's football, and there are so many variables. But like you said, if you said to me, okay, here's the bet, I want the house in your missus, I'd be like, can I just put the missus in? Can I just put the missus in? No, I'd be like, I like the house. I've got my decks.
No, you know what? We like I said, this
but if you
I wasn't able to.
For me, it's all about.
I wouldn't. At least I don't think if I had to put the bet down, no. And I'm sorry if anybody's pissed off about that, but maybe after this match I might change. Right? There's as the matches go on, your opinion starts to change. But right now, I'm looking at third.
No, it's also
because of our running.
It's based on, like I said, it's based on what we've done in the past. We haven't been able to get across the line. I always say this. We always seem like we have to we have to learn, as opposed to just cross the line the first time. We always have to learn, how do we break into the, you know, top four. We failed towards the end for that one.
Yes.
All right, we're sitting top of the league. How do we finish that off?
Tough
Same
fixtures.
thing. We got to learn again. So I keep saying, can we please just learn? Let's just learn the easy way. Let's just cross the line the first time. Whatever that goal is that
Yeah.
we have set up for ourselves. Why don't we just do it the first time and not have to use it as a learning, a learning exercise?
I think last season will have been a huge learning experience for everybody.
Yeah.
What happened to us last season?
And at least we're in top place. I mean, if us City and Liverpool all lose points in the running, if we lose less points than them, then we win, right? Just
Okay, Michael Owen.
It's possible.
That's a very Michael Owen comment right there, Stan.
But do you see what I'm getting at, though, right? You know what I mean? Because it's doable. It is doable. But I ain't putting my house on it just yet. That was my.
You're ready
No,
for
that was very Michael
where-
Owen, wasn't it? It was very Michael Owen.
Well, this is also where I said, kind of, we looked at this last season. I said, you know what? This is where when you're playing in Europa League and you're playing twice a week, you need to understand how to play those types of games where you're playing 2-3 times a week, or 3 times
Finish
a
third
week.
and win the Champions League. You never know, man. Fucking
Yeah.
worse things have happened at sea.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still. It's not. We're still in that one as well.
If we can get 3 points at Bayern, we'd be in control of the league, right?
And you know what? If that was the
Well,
outcome, that we finished
3
third this
points at
season and won the
Bayern?
Champions
What?
League, I'd be
Against
taking out the
Bayern
champagne.
Munich.
I would be so happy.
Don't
I'd
forget
take
there's
that.
3 points on offer for Bayern Munich as well. When we beat Harry Kane, we get 3 points for the league there.
No, when we
well-
beat Eric Dyer. It's Eric Dyer. That's the one.
One thing I've seen is that we've dug deeper this season and hit another level. I think if you look as well at the incomings in the past summer, we talked about this before. Declan Rice, Havertz is showing well now, and David Raya. Who did your City bring in? Kovacic. You know what I mean? And Doku. Yeah. So those players have not exactly been at the same level as a Declan Rice.
All that means nothing, because where do they sit right now?
Grealish out.
Where do they
Well,
sit right now? Like,
Point
it
behind
doesn't
us.
actually matter. All those things, whatever City did or didn't do.
Well, Gary, we were 5 points behind them
It
last
hasn't
season.
really affected them that much. They are still in a position to win.
They are.
Win
They're there.
3 trophies right
Jeremy
now.
Doku is keeping a player out that was at one time the record, £100 million. He's keeping Grealish out of the side.
Grealish. Well,
Grealish has been
another
injured
great
too as
find.
well,
Doku, great find.
Well, yeah, has been injured as well with Grealish, but the meltdowns on the United chance of Arsenal winning at Old Trafford would be monumental. Exactly. I want Man United to concentrate on that cup final, the FA Cup final where they would probably face City. Clemson just bounced Arizona in the Sweet 16. Honestly, just get me a draw at City, and
we should not be looking to get a draw. Let's just say that.
No, but if you play to win,
end up with a draw, but like my mindset is,
to win.
we need the 3 points, because that's what we need. If we end up just getting the draw, I'll take it. But I kind of really want us to go in there with the mindset that we're getting 3 points.
We have to, Gary.
Yeah.
That has to be the mindset, man. That has to be the. If Mikel Arteta is not setting them up for that, then that's bullshit. He needs to be setting them up for winning, not drawing.
Well, we've seen it, Stan. We've seen it on the All or Nothing documentary. Arteta's intense.
Yeah.
He demands this of his players to be brave and to go forward.
Like I said, I think I'd rather have the points and then have the control be in my hands, as opposed to having to depend on other teams to drop points. You know what I mean?
I've got a question from Michael. I'll pose that one as well right now, Michael. McChronicle said, yeah, look for a win, but honestly, draw keeps Arsenal in it. If we go a goal up and, unfortunately we get pegged back or something like that, I will definitely take that draw at the end of the day.
Well, here's the thing. We can't lose. So whatever you do, you're not losing this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we are hungrier, says Michael. I think we are hungrier. We're a younger team. hungrier than City. Treble winners and World Club champs isn't bad. No, they're definitely a good team. It's not going to be easy to beat them. Play to win, nothing else. Okay, so I think Michael had a question here earlier. Could you argue we are better than City if we beat them on Sunday than we are? Like pound for pound, player for player, our best player against their best player in positions.
In a one-off, yes, but as far as the season, we'll have to see. As long as everybody's looking up at us, then yeah. Because I think it's not. We keep saying this is not a sprint, right? This is not a sprint. This is a marathon.
Marathon, yeah.
You got to finish. Like we have 10 matches left. Those 10 matches is kind of those. That's our last 10 tests that we need to pass, right?
So a 10-match season. We're down to a 10-match season here. And listen, although we're talking about a smaller team possibly causing an upset, it's very hard to see Arsenal, Liverpool, or City tripping up over small fish. You know what I mean?
Man City know that we are, competition for them. They know that. They've seen how we've improved. And this game is a marker for both sides. Whoever wins, if somebody comes out a winner, that's a marker that goes down to everybody else.
All right, so let's do it real quick, Gary and Stan. David Raya or Ederson?
Well,
if Edison's healthy and playing, Edison.
Okay.
Edison.
All right.
I'm picking
Kyle
a team.
Walker.
Sorry?
Kyle Walker or Ben White?
If Walker is healthy, then Walker. That's the problem with all of these. For the City, we just don't know. Like, and the one thing about Walker also for me though is they don't. I mean, they might not need him for the entire game. You know what I mean? So he might be able to come. He might say he doesn't start. Say he comes in late. That's when That's when you've seen him do some really good work in terms of like players getting away and him cleaning up the mess. Right? You've seen him do that time and time again. So they might not even be looking to utilize him for 90 and just utilize him for maybe the last 30, 40 minutes to see out the game.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to need to go through the whole 11 positions, but pound for pound, there's a lot of areas in this on the pitch that maybe Arsenal have superior talent to their counterparts. It's going to be very
easy. The main difference is that when Pep Guardiola looks to the bench, his eyes are fucking lighting up. He's like, oh, I've got so much fucking that I can choose and do here. Yeah. Whereas Mikel Arteta looks to the bench and he doesn't necessarily have that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your Man City players, right? It's like in the 75th minute and you're winning 1-0, right? A City. And then you see that Arsenal are bringing on Eddie and Nketiah. Are you going to start shitting yourself? You'd be like, oh, fuck, here we go. Fuck now. Are you just going to be like, yeah, just whatever. You know, Eddie, I'm just saying he's in that as an example.
Eddie should never get near the field on Sunday.
But he's going to be on the bench, right? He's going to be on the bench. So he's taking up a seat.
Might be the 9th seat.
You don't have any. You know what? If everybody's healthy, he might not even be on the bench.
So yeah,
you see where I'm coming from, though. You see the difference that we have. You know, if it's the other way around and we're 1-0 up, you know, and we're slogging and it's quite tight, and we look over to the bench and they're taking Doku off and bringing on Jack Grealish, you're like, for real? Do you know what I mean? No respite. You know what I mean? There's no drop off.
You're like Grealish for Doku, yeah.
Bringing on
Havertz over Haaland. There you go. Havertz over Haaland every day of the week. They are scary already. 3-1 to the Arsenal. BX is representing. I think we opened them up, and I think we've lost 5-0 there. We've lost 4-1 there. We've lost a lot of different games, but
that'd be catastrophic. Mentally, to go there and lose in that manner, like you've mentioned, that would be catastrophic. That's season ending.
And that was seasons past, though, Stan. That was seasons past. I don't for one moment, I'm not sitting here telling you we're going to lose 4-1, 5-0, because that was the team last season that wasn't the strongest team.
Even if it was at worst a 1-1 draw, but we were dominant, and people are coming
Yeah.
away going, "Fuck, man! How Man City were lucky to come away with a point." I
swear.
would. Okay, I'd live with that, but I would still be dead. I want to win. If we are who we think we are, and we want to prove to everybody that we are a force to be reckoned with. We're already one of the top 8 teams in Europe at the moment. We need to beat these.
I already think that we are
need to
going
beat these.
we are going to change the narrative. I think a lot of the media narrative, a lot of the rival narrative is that Man City are far superior to Arsenal. And Arsenal were somehow lucky to beat City at the Emirates earlier in the season. Gary, I think we're going to change a lot of mindsets on Sunday.
And teabag.
Whatever the result's going to be.
Yeah, no, I know what. Every team has to deal with injuries. So when they go, oh, City didn't have Rodri, are they a one-man team? Because everybody keeps saying, look at their bench. When they go to their bench, look at their bench. But Rodri's out, and guess what? They struggle. So they are closer to
in some areas.
Well, when he's out, they struggle.
Is he out, Rodri, Gary? Is he out?
It's been proven.
No,
I'm just saying, like he's the key. He's like the linchpin to their team. Like for us, what?
I
you were raising.
I was like, he's out. He's out. You went, is he out? You went, no. I was like, oh fuck.
No, you guys, I forget about it.
You were saying, Gary, Rodri is, if you don't have Rodri, there's not a player on the team that can fill in for him.
No,
and that's because Rodri's top level. Yeah. We've seen. I saw a clip earlier today where Declan Rice was being the stats for Declan Rice were very much the same as Rodri's. So these players do not grow on trees. You can't find them everywhere in the league. You know what I mean? This is the time to change the narrative, says Reedy. Media in this country will always hate us, though, deep down. And even the reporting of the injuries and how Arsenal handled the interlull was reported differently to how Pep Guardiola and other teams treat the interlull with their players not being available.
KDB not going or whatever, and then Saka not going. You're like, all right, so okay.
Ben White not going. Yeah. Oh, he hates his country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not true. And I never used to really believe the media dislike for Arsenal, but after years of being fed this by the likes of Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, Rodri can be baited.
I mean the player that can do that and has done that, and even though I don't like it when he does it sometimes, is Havertz. So Havertz seems to be the player in our squad that needles, irritates our opponents the most.
Do you think that have the media seized upon that, Gary? Have they noticed that? Are they calling him? They're not calling him a dirty player, although he probably has.
I mean, they're like, he should have gotten a yellow and been out of the game. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And he scores a winner.
But they haven't.
But you know what? But we've seen the exact same thing from City, because I can, when Rodri scored the winner against us, 3 years ago, it was the same thing. Rodri could have been out of the game. Yeah, we were screaming about that ourselves, right? He doesn't. So you know what? It comes. It's a big circle. It always comes back, So
absolutely.
So I think So Havertz, if he starts, I think it'll be crucial to kind of how that affects City, because I think he's an annoyance to defenses.
Yeah, but he's replaced Granit Xhaka. Like, let's say he's come in when Granit Xhaka's left. Granit Xhaka had that stink of getting yellow cards and having that name against him. Havertz has about as many yellow cards as Granit Xhaka.
But it's not the same. It's not the same. Once again, we did not replace Xhaka with Havertz.
I didn't say that. I said Havertz came in when Xhaka left.
but they aren't even like for me. It's not even. It's irrelevant to the
Right.
like Xhaka leaving and Havertz coming in. We didn't need to let Xhaka go. We could have kept him, kind of thing. But I like I said, I think
He
his
wanted to
yellows
go.
definitely annoy the other team, and
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, but I don't like it because I don't want him getting yellows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it does bother the other team, so you have to like that
Oh,
much.
I think we've just started to realize what kind of shithousery levels that Havertz very, very low key. Ben White, he wallows in the shithousery of it. He loves it. But Havertz does it with like, what me? I'm so innocent.
He
You know what
definitely
I mean?
does. Yeah, he definitely does that.
Um Stan, you were smiling for a second there. It's City and all of our rivals against us. Let's go.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'll just do a go and say I forget about it.
Was it about Rodri again?
Can't remember.
It feels like a United match
No,
again.
I was going to say, like, basically, it's the end of the Second World War, right? The Japan know that they're doing really badly, so they come up with the concept of the Air Force telling the pilots that they've come up with this concept of being kamikaze pilots. So they're telling them it's a one-way trip. It's a suicide mission. There's only enough petrol to get you there, but you're going to take out the enemy. Any volunteers? And who comes running into the hangar? It's Kai Havertz. Yeah, I'll have a go. Sign me up for that. I like it.
Yeah.
He's up for it.
He hasn't got his helmet on yet, but he's ready to go.
Yeah.
I want to see Declan Rice try to be better than Rodri, like Keane, Vieira again. All right, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder though if that rivalry is there in modern day football anymore. Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira going at it.
Right now, I mean, Declan
Rodri
Rice
and Rice.
does a lot of things for us, right? He's not necessarily asked as much to do when we have
different personalities.
Yeah.
Different and different kinds of players as well,
It's
Gary.
a lot for me. You know what? You don't have to you don't have to worry about him getting. I mean, when he puts in a terrible tackle, that's a surprise, right? You know, so he usually keeps his head up.
I wonder if we'll see that on Sunday. Declan Rice putting in, that tackle that will inspire the rest of the team.
But you know what? For me, anyways, it's. I don't think that's him because it does take away from him because we saw that
mega legs.
Porto game.
It's the mega legs thing, isn't it?
We saw it in the Porto game, right?
Yeah.
In the Porto away match, he got the yellow early in the game, and that basically took him out of the game mentally because he needs to know how to play with a yellow, right? But it definitely took him out of his style of play that he wanted to implement. So it's a learning exercise for him there. But yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see Declan Rice. I think he's going to be up for this one for sure. You got it. He's come to a club at Arsenal. With all due respects, he's got more chance to do big things with this team than he did with West Ham, and he's starting to excel and grow in the midfield role. Ben White really helped Brazil beat England by playing his cards in Dubai. Because Ben White wasn't there, that's the reason why they lost, right? Really playing 3D chess there.
Turns out Ben White was born in Sao Paulo.
Arsene Wenger signed Ben White. No, he didn't. I was going to do an Arsene Wenger conspiracy thing. We gave them ammunition in 20 years of being shit. Time for a rude awakening. Roll Me One Kenobi's here, a resident Real Madrid fan in the house. Trying to check the temperature of Man City. I guess if you're a Madrid fan, Gary, you're going to be looking at this game, seeing what level City's at. You know what I mean? Yeah. With the upcoming quarterfinal.
Well, I like to think that we're gonna make them look bad. So people are gonna think they're not that good, but it's because we're playing better. So, and they could get surprised when they play them. So, and plus, I think also they're not. I would think they're not as healthy as they would be going into that Real Madrid game. You know, because it's going to be I don't know how many weeks. Is that a week from now or something like that?
Yeah. Probably about 10 days.
Yeah, so they
time.
have
What,
like
what
10 days to recover from the, or whatever, 8 days to recover
Yeah.
from the game to be ready for that.
Um, Xavi Alonso seems to be the hottest property in the manager go around right now. So, you know, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. But I think what I heard, he wants to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for another season at least.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't, it's one of those for me. You just go. You go. You like holding, like waiting. What happens? Like you've seen this before, right? Manager is tempting or teasing that he's going to leave. Doesn't leave. Comes back for the next season. That has like a terrible season. What do you do if that
hmm,
was if that was your
right.
target, right?
You're
So
saying his stock is really high right now.
yeah,
That's what
it's
you're
not good.
saying.
Is it going to get any better than it is right now? Like
No,
you haven't lost a
no.
match in how long or whatever it is. You're destined to win your league.
Yeah.
I think they're still
All right, 10 points clear.
In Europa, right? So they
Yeah.
still have a chance to win, a treble. So like it's not going to get any better. Like, will they be able to do the same thing in the Champions League? Maybe
No.
not because it's a little bit tougher, right? So
Yeah.
especially next year, it's going to be even, totally different. So,
Romney
you know,
one. Kenobi saying win this league, Arsenal, please.
Mhm.
We're in favor of that as well.
just
For
going
sure.
back to the Champions League, though, we have to be the third favourites, right? Behind Man City and Madrid, I would say. I would say that we should definitely be able to get to a
Well,
semi-final.
we
Because
got
I
to be
mean, I'm not
second
being funny.
favorites
Look,
now.
Real Madrid, for me, but Bayern Munich, we should be like any team that's wants to win trophies in Europe is going to go out and sign Eric Dyer in their defense. Do me a favor. What's that all about?
Well,
Come on, how
this
can you
is a
take that
testament.
seriously? It's a
Yeah.
little bit like back in the day, right? Everywhere Hulk Hogan went, no matter what wrestling promotion he went to, he'd always find a job for his mate Brutus Beefcake. And this is probably like
Well,
Harry Kane. Harry Kane is probably part of the deal. I'll come there, but I've got to bring Eric.
bring my mate.
Bring
Yeah.
Eric.
You know what it is?
Part of the deal.
What it is that they just like balance. So, if
I
you
need
bring
Eric.
Harry Kane and you bring Eric Dyer, you can't even see it. It kind of equals itself out when you average it out. So they like balance. So
Yeah.
that's why he's
You
there.
do not deserve to go any further if you've gone
Well,
out and you've got aspirations and you sign Eric Dyer. I mean,
does
come
that
on.
tell
You do
you?
not
Does that
deserve it.
tell you? I mean, does that tell you that there's no money in Europe now?
How would
the
you
money
feel if you was a
coming
Bayern Munich player? You're trying to chase all the top things, and we go, but everybody come into the change room. We've got a new signing that we'd like everybody to welcome and bring in.
You
And then
can,
Eric Dyer, you'd be like, right,
as
okay.
a Bayern,
I'm
as a
talking to
Bayern
my
Munich
agent.
fan.
I'm talking to
Yeah.
my agent, and I want out.
As a Bayern Munich fan, you got to be saying, okay, Harry Kane's pretty good, but this
Yeah.
Eric Dyer,
Yeah.
what just happened to my team? 1/10 of my outfield is pretty bad. You know what I mean? Eric Dyer, and he's playing at the back as well. Yeah. All right, BX Gunner, smoke that stuff probably. So there's a community within the community. You know,
Yeah, there is layers upon layers.
of
As
smoke.
Gary says, there's levels to this thing, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's levels of smoke within this community, but yeah, happy to have you guys here. This is a 20-year-old cut. I definitely do. There you go.
I'm laughing at
There's
Riley
levels to it.
Kenobi, Liverpool and Miss Elizabeth. I get that.
I smell a conspiracy here. Anthony Taylor, who's a City season ticket holder, and Jared Gillett, a Liverpool fan. Yeah, it doesn't look good. I can't wait to watch the Bayern game, says Michael. Yeah, if you were to worry, if I've gotten to the point of not really worrying about the referees anymore because you're just going to get Eric Dyer and Harry Kane on
Yes,
your
sir.
team officiating. They will probably be an officiating team 10 years from now, Gary.
That's why it's important that we finish we are clinical in front of goal. Because,
Chances.
well, it's more because there might be something on the other side that goes against us that either gives them a goal or whatever. So we need to do
Right.
do our due diligence.
Yeah.
Uh,
Arsenal will cook Bayern. That's what I say as noted. I feeling a little bit more confident with each day with the Bayern game. Whatever happens to Man United make me happy right now. LOL. Whatever
Yeah,
happens to
Eric
Man
Ten
United.
Hag
Man
is
United make me happy.
giving
Okay.
that.
My chronicle is correct here because Arsenal will be second favorites because one of Real Madrid or City will go out, and
Oh, of course.
Arsenal should
Yeah, I forgot
should take
they're facing each other. So yeah,
should
excuse me.
take care of Bayern. We're favorites to take
It
care of
kind of
Bayern.
helps us, right? It helps our pathway if you think about it.
Except we face the winner.
But we don't have to. Yeah, but I mean, one of them's got to go, right? Which means
True.
that means that it can't be a final. It can't be a Real Madrid, Manchester City final.
So
It opens up a space.
do we enjoy the Bayern game as a glamour game as well? Like we won a glamour game, right?
Revenge game. It's revenge. We owe them. They fucking.
what does that mean
I know.
when you say that? Ray?
Revenge.
Oh, okay,
So-
I didn't know. It sounded like nice what you said, and no, I
Me?
I want
Yeah,
their
man.
fans to be to leave at halftime. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
man.
Oh wait, they won't have any fans.
All right, Gary's got glasses too.
I know he's not talking about me. I have no clue what Stan is talking about.
The rest, you just got to bring some wrestling knowledge, Gary. I don't have it. I
I'll
don't
try
know
this
it.
again. I have no clue what
Let me
Stan
just
said.
for Roll One Kenobi, who I've not seen in here before. It's a new one. I've not seen him
He
in
was
the
there
chat
last
before.
week.
Was he? Okay, I wasn't here last week.
You
I
weren't
was
there
off, wasn't
last
I?
Sunday, yeah.
But you should tune into a couple of the guys. They do a wrestling channel. I was on it earlier, same day.
Mm.
That's where Tony probably still is now with Mr. Tom. The Fools Nelson podcast on the Thursday. We do a weekly show. We do watch alongs. We're going to be doing a WrestleMania watch along. We do the pay per views. So if you're into your wrestling, check that out, mate. You might enjoy it. It's a bit mad though.
Maybe it's more popular than I think, Stan.
Sometimes Vince McMahon actually puts in an appearance. That is seriously. I'm not lying. So
Liverpool or Miss Elizabeth. What's that all about?
that's
Is that a
wrestling. That's I get that. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't want Eric at Ipswich. No, Liverpool or Vince McMahon with the
The wrestling
non-disclosure.
always creeps in, doesn't it? Always creeps into our shows.
Funny that. I actually like Spurs for that dire transfer. Are you confident Real will beat City? That's a very finely balanced game. I think City probably have a little bit too much for them. But I don't think
it's going to be interesting though. It's going to be I will be paying attention and watching those fixtures. It's a great fixture.
Yeah. The Militao back, and we can finally play Tchouaméni, central defensive midfielder. Okay.
I think Madrid at the moment are a little bit like us in that they haven't really kind of compensated properly yet for Benzema. There's like a little hole there. But what else they have is excellent. I mean, they've got two great wingers, haven't they? Vinny Jr. on one side and Rodrigo, who's a bit of an unsung hero, is excellent on the other side. A little bit like, I mean, if you put up Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo against Saka and Salah, I mean, there's quite a comparison there. I think they shade it, right? Because I think as much as we love Martinelli, I don't think he's at a Vinny Jr. level yet.
Right.
Yeah, and they've got a great manager as well. The manager knows what he's doing. Tukameni. It's a good team.
Madrid. And
very good team.
Robbie One Quinobi was trying to get us to buy Rodrigo on Sunday. So for Arsenal, talking him up.
Good player.
Yeah.
I'll take Rodrigo ahead of Rafinha, who's a very good player.
Ooh, Rafinha. Okay. We were after Rafinha in that big transfer saga of the late summer, not this past summer, the one before. I hope City Tonk Madrid is a English club. Okay, here we go. Porto, Bayern, Real, then Barca in the final would be the Yeah, I think I want Barcelona. If we get to the final, I want Barcelona. You know what I mean? We get through Bayern, Real Madrid and Barcelona. That'll do. That'd be a nice Champions League win right there.
Double revenge, isn't it? We get what way to win the Champions League? We get revenge on Bayern Munich, and we get
Yeah.
revenge on Barcelona as well. That would be a sweet. I
Yeah.
would love that. I would love us to win our Champions League by doing that double revenge. That would be worth an extra bottle of champagne in the celebrations. That would be brilliant.
Yeah. So listen, for those who are asking, it's the Fool Nelson podcast, and if you're interested in more Arsenal content, check out Gary DWTT as well. He goes on trips, so if you want to, some of you might like to go on trips here. So
Yes.
if you want to go on trips, you can go on a trip while you're on a trip, right? Boise's in the chat. Welcome, Boise. All right, I agree with the guy with last. We're missing someone like Benzema. I've been saying this for ages.
Only Kenobi loves him some Stan.
Yeah, we'll start calling him Stan now,
You
not
see
the
Stan,
guy in
I
the last.
saw her like creeping through the window, like looking through the window, like what's going on over here?
I'm just laughing at Lawrence is comparing us to wrestlers, and I'm loving it that Gary's being compared to JYD. The dog.
Is that good or bad? I don't even know. I do like Ricky Steamboat though, so I don't know.
Gold Dust.
I don't know if I'm Ricky Steamboat. Junkyard Dog. I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right. Hey, there will be some Googling going on later, Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Gold Dust.
All right, Lawrence.
Gold Dust. Does that mean he?
Cody's brother.
Huh?
Gold member.
It's Cody's brother.
Is Cody's brother? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gold Dust. Dustin. He was Cody's brother, but he was Gold Dust for for years.
Junkyard Dog.
Was he good?
All right.
Oh, he's very good.
Okay.
Yeah. Goldust gave me shattered dreams.
Nice little pun there. Pun's playing. He's playing there. I like it. I know what he's doing.
Tony is Cactus Jack.
Oh my! I don't know if that's good or bad.
I'm gonna have to make note.
I was gonna
this,
say he's
Sebastian Booger.
Hacksaw McDuggan. Is that more Tony?
Junkyard Dog.
No, I've got Tony Dan Moore as a Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Goldust and Cactus. Cactus what? All right, Cactus Jack. All
I'll
right.
take Scott Halder. I'll take that all day long.
I'll have to brush up a little bit on my wrestling knowledge, right?
All you've got to do is tune into the Fools Nelson Wrestling podcast on Thursdays.
All right. It feels like 3 hours of a lot of content. You know what I mean? Tom.
It is a lot of content.
Tom does put a lot of stuff together. You know what I mean?
Only Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase. All right. So, any more? You want to stay in the Champions League a little bit longer? We go back to this Man City game. I feel like we were last season.
I have a question. I have a question, please, for everybody.
Yes.
I have a question
Before
for
we
everybody.
dive into this next segment. Yes.
You can only have one: a league win or a Champions League win this season. What are you having?
I've said that. I'm on record.
I can't
Big
remember.
ears. Give me big ears.
Me too. Champions League. Gary?
Yeah, Champions League. I want everybody. You know what? Champions League, so everybody can just shut up.
Exactly.
Just shut up. I don't want to
Exactly.
hear anything about it. Like they can't come to me with anything, right? They can't say I can't listen to any show where they go. But have you got a Champions League?
You got a Champions
You
League.
can at last walk
Champions
into the restaurant and say to the the fucking guy at the front, I believe you have a table reserved for us at the big table. We're at the big table.
No,
Yeah.
no, you know, not only that, but I get the big steak as well.
You tell him, Gary.
Give me the big steak.
Man.
You know what? Yeah,
Lovely.
I don't get the little tiny steak. I get the big one, like with the big fork. You know, you can't. You get a regular fork and you try to pick up the big steak, it just starts to bend. Nope, you need a big fork. You stick it. And you're like, yes, that's me. So
I just want to let Roll me own Kenobi know, as it's his kind of first time around here, and I wasn't here last week. I actually am running a list that everyone can verify. I do have a list. Some of the guys are on it more than once.
Yeah, just be nice.
You missed some of that, but we do. I do have a list. The list of Stan.
Yeah.
You like there
Yeah.
hasn't you haven't really used it lately, so there you
You've
go.
all been good. You've been quite good lately, but the pen is
I
still
don't.
here.
I don't get on that list.
Still here.
All right, the Champions League, right? Hey, so is the Champions League a glorified higher level FA Cup?
Just
What?
call it the FA Cup. Just call it that. Please stop calling it the Champions League. When you finish fifth in your league and you can still get into the Champions League,
Yeah,
it's just. I guarantee you, people that have ADHD, this must fuck with their heads. Because for me, it's just like it's not the Champions League. Just call it the European Cup, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Just
You know what? If they
it.
do that, then you know what? Nobody can come talk to us anymore for a bit, right? Because it won't be
that's
the
fine.
Champions League era anymore. It'll be the
European
new.
Cup sounds better as well,
But
doesn't
Stefan,
it? Doesn't it even
isn't
sound
it?
better? We won the European Cup. Sounds better
Yeah,
than we won the Champions League. We won the European
we
Cup. For
won.
me,
We
it's
won. We
grand. It
won
sounds
a
grander.
European Cup competition. It just happens to be a premium cup competition. Am I minimizing it, or
Just call it the
should it
European
have
Cup.
more
Hmm.
gravitas? Should it have more gravitas? Stefan, it's still an elimination. You
The
know,
big gold.
you play two legs. It's elimination rounds. Probably winning the league. Probably the win in the league tells you that you're a more consistent team, and you won it. You
But
win
we
the
have
league
won it.
because
We
you're
have
the
won
best
the
team.
Premier League more than once.
Yeah.
We haven't done the. Do you know what I'm getting at? We haven't.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
certain conversations as fans that we can't enter into. We start having conversations, and they turn around like with the little brother that's
Where's yours?
like they're like pipe down, little brother. This is not. The adults are talking. We need to win that champion. You know what I mean? We need to be able to
Yeah.
enter into
Yeah,
those
yeah.
conversations.
I have 14 Champions League. I can lose one like a Big Mac. See? Real Madrid. They've been around. You might have heard of them. If West Ham win the Europa this season, then sixth place team will qualify for the Champions League. There you go. It is a cup competition, but we want it. We want to win it. Yeah. Celtic, first British winners of the European Cup. Nothing matches that in Scotland. Okay.
But I'm also one of those that when I look at draws and stuff, I don't like to plot the easy route. If I'm going to be in a Champions League semi-final or final, I want it to be against Real Madrid. I want it to be against Man City. I want it to be against Barcelona. I want to go out against. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be in the final against, say, Borussia Dortmund. Now they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slagging them, but they're not the stature of a Real Madrid or a Man City or a Barcelona. Do you know what I'm getting at? And I want to win it. I want to win it, where there's no argument like, oh yeah, you only won it because there was that year that all the other teams got knocked out, and it was fucking I don't know, Basel who got to the final and you beat. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I want to win it
Oh,
legit.
Vista.
I want it legit against a proper team.
Yeah. How do you feel about the new format of Champions League?
I don't know I don't understand it. I don't know what it is. So please tell me. Explain it. What is it?
I think it's going to be a league format. And Gary, jump in if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's more teams get to play, and
How many teams from England can qualify for it? Is it no longer a top four?
It can go up to 5, I think, and maybe even 6, depending on how you win it and stuff like that.
I think there's going to be.
It's all by coefficients, and I think right now the coefficients give us 4. But the longer we go, the longer we keep. If Arsenal and City make it to the semis, I think that's good for England.
Pro Evolution from 2006 Master League. If you're familiar with that,
coefficiency. What the fuck's that?
Stan, have you played Pro Evolution from 2006 Master League? I believe
I've played Pro Evolution before, but I don't know what year it was. It was a while back. Yeah. They had funny names and for the teams and the players and stuff.
I think it might be 2 actual league tables.
I know what you're talking about. Now it's going to be like that. I see what you're saying. That Master League that they had, and okay, that's a bit weird, isn't it? I don't like that. Just have a European Cup.
I know.
Keep it to the top 4.
And they want,
Wanna make
by
it
doing this,
interesting.
they're going to introduce 2 or 3 more games, 2 or 3 more match day weeks. You know,
I mean, by rights, it should just be, the team that wins the league in that country, you're in this competition. That would be a Champions League. If you want to bring more teams in, to just call it a European Cup and set out a boundary that it's the top 3 teams or top 4 teams or whatever it is. And I think that's cool, but coefficiency and, it's like, carry the 1. It's like mathematics. You've got to carry the 1 and add 2. And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, you know what it is? I think they don't want to
cheers, roll me one.
they don't want to have to change all of their marketing. It costs money to change it from Champions League to European Cup or whatever we want to call it. So
they changed it from the European Cup to the Champions League, didn't they? They were like, we're going to do all this money. Oh no, let's rebrand the European Cup. And I went, yeah,
they don't. No, I don't want to spend any money on that. Screw that. You know what? I got jet fuel. Jet fuel prices are going up. Why in the world would I want to?
Well, roll me one. Kenobi might actually like Tony as well when Tony joins us.
Oh, dear me, yeah.
I mean, Ray, what are you doing?
When a new viewer comes in, Tony free,
exactly.
man. There's always
your
like,
first thing is, you know what? You should go hang out with Tony. That is usually not how. That's not how you introduce someone to this.
Well, Gary, when the A team, when somebody needed the A team, they always had to introduce them to Murdoch, because
you had to break him out, didn't you? I have to go and break Murdoch out.
No. Who's the first one they introduced him to? Face, right? Because guess what?
No, Hannibal.
No, you see Face first, and then you're like, all right, and then you see Hannibal, and then you're like, okay, and then you see Murdoch, and you're like, oh crap. Right?
Listen, if we are the A team, then obviously Ray is Hannibal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I'm the face man. Gary's Mr. T. Gary's BA, and Tony's Murdoch.
You got that right.
Or Gary could be the face.
You got that right. That's
Gary could be the face. Who knows?
I am not the face.
Has Gary been in Percy?
No, you know what? No, that's not even
Percy Jackson and the Olympians or Firefly Lane. I believe he has not.
Stop pulling out your CV. Stop pulling out your CV. Put that thing back. Stop it.
Face man.
Put the CV back in the box, please.
Stefan would like to see Eastern European teams in it again. If you're champions, you go into the European Cup. It's the Real Madrid Interventional Cup now. I don't know if maybe Real Madrid had something to do with it. If we sell
double figures of a trophy, and everybody else is like, well, we got 6.
They got 14, right? Yeah. They've got 14. If we sell Rodrigo, I'll give you the hookup like Ozil. What's that mean?
You know, if you're trying to sell it, the last thing you should say, like the full stop should be Ozil. All right, let's just say that. You can't end with Ozil. That's just like.
Oh yeah.
So is it? Should we go down the Ozil route with a Real Madrid?
No.
What is wrong with you?
No.
What is wrong with you, Ray?
Because
Ray, no. We're trying to get you to stop talking about wherever you're about to go.
I still like to understand what happened to Mesut.
Nobody know what is wrong.
I'm not having this conversation.
What is going? Move on.
No.
All right.
Move on, sir.
Moving on.
Sir. Nothing to see here.
When I listen to Spurs streams, they're like, we met a
You're taking me to the bad place again.
That meant to be a side piece like a Rick James girl.
Hey, Stan, what should be in your hand right now?
You don't want to know. My therapist said to me that I should not go to this place again.
Stan, get the pen out, man.
For Real Madrid.
That guy should be.
I can even hear my missus in the background. She's in the kitchen. I can hear her. She heard you what you said. I can hear my missus going, oh, no. Oh,
no, Ozil.
Yeah,
the old word.
Like, oh, no. The rest of my evening.
Ozil was talking
like, I'm going out for a bit.
But he was good for Madrid, and for us.
I don't support Madrid.
You know what?
I support Arsenal.
Ray.
And it was fucking tough for us, man.
Come on.
All right.
Write that man up in the book, man. Stan, you see, you got Stan so
make the list.
He doesn't even know that he has a pen. He
has
the power of the pen.
I made the list.
The man is shook. Right, look at him. He cannot contain himself right
There you
now.
go.
I'm
We
gonna.
got
Can I?
we
Can
got
I listen,
the
I've said it before. Right? I'm just going to say it again in case no one's ever heard me say it, and I still stand by it. For me, as an Arsenal supporter, that's been supporting them since probably like 78, 79. I think it was no, maybe 80, somewhere
yeah,
around there.
1980,
I think
right?
he's the worst. He's the worst player that ever to wear an Arsenal shirt, and I'm not just talking because of the skill. I'm not talking about as a footballer. All things considered.
Mentality.
For me,
Right.
the worst player to ever grow, worse than Stefan Schwartz, who went on strike for Arsenal, worse
What
than
about
William
William
Gallas,
Gallas?
worse than William
No,
Gallas, who fucking basically besmirched and fucking shat on the number 10 shirt for us. I think he was
Mhm.
worse, but there we go. I've got it off my chest.
All right.
Please, can you move on?
We've so Stan, we have got now the better MO. Martin Odegaard. Okay. We gave you Odegaard. We were brothers at when we
I feel
went to
better
London.
now. That was nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know what,
We're
people?
happy.
What is going on? Oh, come on.
You
Gary,
see?
we got also. Just don't think you understand.
You know what? I don't
Now,
want to understand
Odegaard.
that.
Now Odegaard. I mean, I'm interested to know from Kenobi because he's a Real Madrid supporter, and at the time when they sold, or when he went out on loan to us, Martin Odegaard, and we sold, they sold Martin Odegaard. At that time, as a Real Madrid supporter, was you like, yeah, there's no room for him in the team, or maybe was you like, yeah, he's not quite up to that level, and if so, what do you think about his performances now in an Arsenal shirt? Are you like, why did we sell him, or don't care anyway? We've got a better player. I just want to know how you feel about that, because for me personally, as an Arsenal supporter, I think for us it's one of the best bits of business that Mikel Arteta has ever done. I think
30 million.
I think that we are extremely lucky to pay. It was around 30 million, 35 million euros, maybe something like that. The same money that we paid for Teabag. And if you're new around these parts, we're talking about Fabio Vieira.
Oh, come on. See, you know what? Both of you guys are just like making my ears like ring and like, oh.
But anyway, right? We're talking in the same ballpark for money. And Martin Odegaard, for me, he looks like a player that is going to go on to be one of these big talents, like a Kevin De Bruyne in the game, where people will talk about him and laud him. And I just want, here we go.
There we go. Had the minerals. I was mad with Perez for selling them. I knew he had the sauce, So that's even before he showed his, what he could do with us. Because Odegaard took, a season on loan and maybe another season to really settle into this team. And now we have found a way.
There were people that were saying when he went back to Madrid, and there was talk about, we still need to get a player for that position. Do we buy this guy? There were people online going, no, buy Bundia instead.
Yeah, and Madison even as well.
There were a lot of.
That's up there with who do we get?
Bundia now.
That is up there with who do we get to take over from Unai Emery? And the best one I heard was Chris Wilder. I mean,
on Sunday.
It's just like
on Sunday.
Can you imagine where we'd be now? Fucking hell.
On Sunday, Odegaard
went there in our midfield and Chris Wilder as our manager.
Odegaard versus Rodri on Sunday will be probably one of the key battles in the game on Sunday as well. We're treating Guller like Odegaard now. Odegaard, he's amazing. I loved him, but lad, he's now loved with you guys. Yeah, and I think he's our captain now. You know what I mean? Arteta thought enough of him to make him the captain as well, taking it from Granit Xhaka, right? Xhaka was captain for a bit. Yeah, Chris Wilder.
I would like to know what he saw in Odegaard when he first got here to why he ended up being our captain. Because
well, he was captain of his country as well, Gary.
I tell you what, Gary. Right, when we were linked with him coming on loan, I remember hearing the name. I was like, Odegaard. I've heard of that name, but I didn't know about him. And I looked up on YouTube and I found this like documentary about him, and it was like they'd been like they'd
Unbelievable.
been filming this guy with like home cameras since he was
Yeah.
a kid. Like they knew. So there's two of them that are on YouTube, but you can see it. I'm like, so they obviously could see it when he was young, and they talked to all of like the different coaches at the different, the youth levels and all of that, and all of them were just like, yeah, we knew this kid was always like years above it. He'd be like 7 years old. He'd be playing with like the 12-year-olds. And it was always the way that he was always above it. And I'm like, so when I knew that we were getting him, I was like, this guy sounds like he could be like a generational talent.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Real Madrid at that young age. And you got to think about it. Real Madrid, when it comes to scouting and finding prodigies and stuff like that, they're bang on. They're not, they don't get it wrong. And I think we were just very lucky that there wasn't enough room for him in the position that he plays. And he had the talent. They put him out on loan various times, 2 or 3 times, always done well. But the guy needed to play, and we were in the right place at the right time. They couldn't accommodate him, and everything just aligned, and it's good for us, man, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the as you said, he needed somebody who was going to give him the minutes that he needs. Some players, like, they're not just going to give you
The guy had
glimpses. You're like, all right,
Modric and Cruz in front of him at the time, right? What are you going to do?
And that was to our benefit as well, Gary.
Yeah.
That we got him. I see the ticky-tacky skill. He had the leader mentality. Wanted to be the best. He could open up a defense like a locked door on Skyrim.
Well, like I said, I was screaming at him during some of the games when he came back. So I know he wasn't giving me some of the stuff that I was looking for. But
Martin,
like I said, so there's some games that stand out. But
I think.
no, but like I said, I wonder what Arteta saw from him, and like I understand he was a captain before, but it doesn't always translate, because for me, Declan Rice could have.
I think it's like training, isn't it?
Right?
Gary? When someone new comes in and you think, okay, and you sometimes, as you're the player, and you can all of a sudden you're like, see him in training, fucking quality on that guy. You see what they have, and you're like, yeah, this guy's a bit good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is, right? And they see it, they think, the application and the skill levels and what they are able to do. And you're nodding each other and going, fucking hell, he's a bit neat, isn't he? Look at this guy.
I've seen a tweet where I think somebody said 10 years ago, looking at Odegaard, that he should rock up at Arsenal and win the league in 2024. I think there's a tweet out there where somebody has predicted that 10 years in advance.
Didn't he? He had talks with Arsene Wenger, didn't he?
Yep.
Before he went, I think, to Real Madrid, he was looking at a few places, and he tells a story that him and his representative actually went out, met at a hotel with a restaurant to have lunch or dinner. And he said that he was in the restaurant, and he ordered whatever it was, and the waiter said, would you like fries with that? And he said he thought about it. Would Arsene Wenger think it was, the
right thing,
not the right thing to do to have potatoes? So he said no, because he was that impressed and wanted to.
Nervous.
But for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But so we were interested in this kid.
Yep.
So there's something about him, right? There's something about him that's always been noticed.
And
I hate all these stories of what could have been, because all these players that come close to Arsenal, and like it didn't really work out, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, Wenger had a breakfast with Pele, but he didn't decide to sign in the end. Yeah,
Ronaldo.
bumped into Maradona at the supermarket, but they couldn't, quite.
I still remember as well, in that video you're referencing, Stan, that when he went to Real Madrid, he was 16. He was a young kid.
Yeah, young,
Real
right?
Madrid. And he still remembers to this day his hair was a mess. He could put only he only had a stripy jumper on, and he looked like a kid out of school, because he was, probably.
Which is surprising, because now you look at that Brazilian kid on Enric, and you're like, that guy looks like chiseled, and like hair is in the right spot and all of that.
Mhm.
and then he goes out and scores a goal in back-to-back games, the
Oof,
first and second
he
game
looks good.
of his career, and you're like,
You
okay.
know the funny thing, like, you know the funny thing, Gary, that Chelsea almost had that deal wrapped up, and then told Bowley, he said, "No, I'm not vetoing this. Don't want to
Oh,
do it.
you know what?
Don't want to do it."
You know what? If that
And you think of all
that
all
just
that money they've spent, all the deals that they put
and
through,
Henrik,
and
they
then they've
couldn't
got
get, they
this
didn't
one.
want
No,
to
no,
bid.
no, 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 no. Pull it out. We're not doing it. 51 million. We're not doing it.
That's just silly.
Uh,
That's just
Now he's
roll me
going
see,
to
you know
one.
what?
Madrid, man. He's
That
going to go
right
to
there,
Madrid with Mbappe.
that is
Woo.
that is terrible. That is
Roll
like I
me
know
No,
one,
they
Kenobi.
I know they're doing a lot of bad things there. They've done a lot of bad things there with the team and how they built
that's
it and all of
killer.
that. But that is like, are you serious? You spend $1 billion and you can't afford to get probably the best 16-year-old in the world to come and hang out with you for a bit?
Yeah, that's killer. That's killer. Yeah. They
Mhm.
had it. It was done. Like the thing was all done. It was all, and then it was Todd Bowley that said, "No, no, 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 don't want to do this. Don't want to do it. We're doing something else." So I was going
It's
to
terrible.
Madrid, and now we've seen what he can do on like the world stage. Brilliant. He looks
Wow.
good. This guy.
Wow. Roll me one. Kenobi said, Erdegaard, I know he will get you a Champions League. He's learned from Modric and Cruz, you
Yeah.
know? And we're starting into this window now where we need to be dominant for 3 to 5 years. Keep stamping our passport to the Champions League, Gary, and be in the top three teams every year that can do it.
Yeah,
And we've seen with City, it took a few years for City to do it, but
yeah,
eventually they got that Champions League. We don't want to wait. I know you don't want to wait, so let's do it this year, right?
yeah. We don't have to learn how not to win something. Let's just go ahead and win it. I saw also today that Nathan Nweri is signed as a
Yes,
professional now for
yes.
Arsenal. So
Another
we'll see
player to
what.
watch out for, right?
Yes, sir.
So Erdegaard probably embodies everything Arteta wants in a player. Are we willing to say the talent profile, the talent spotting that Arteta and his team has seems to be pretty much on point? When you look at Erdegaard and say he's going to be my captain.
They've gotten better. Let's just say that. Yeah. So then like the Havertz deal looked like it wasn't going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I first saw it, I said it's not going to work out for us right
Still
now.
streaky.
Next year, it
Yeah.
might be like where we're like, okay, this
We're
is the
getting
one
there.
that we wanted. This is the guy we wanted last year. You know what I mean? What we're seeing next year, because he's taking time. He's taking time, and Arteta's figured out where to actually place him, which I think
It's still
was
a bit.
everybody knew.
I'm still worried, Gary, that he's a bit streaky. I'm still a little bit worried. I'm glad that there's been an uptick.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
if I'm not going to put my house on it. If we were betting, I want to see this last 10 games is really going to tell us who he is, right?
Yep. No, you
Yeah.
know what?
And,
You know
I
what? The
mean,
one thing that he is, and he is just like a Xhaka. He doesn't really take days off. You know what I mean? He's not really gonna. I
No,
mean, at least he hasn't been. He'll be available all the time. So we
robust.
need
Yeah,
that. We need that, right? So
yeah, yeah.
I like I said, he has he has availability, and then once in a while he'll give us what we need, and then hopefully he'll be able to give it to
How
us
did he
more
do on international
consistently.
duty? He played for Germany,
He
right? How did
scored
he
and
do?
assisted, I think, in the first game,
first game he did that. Yeah,
and
he
then I can't
scored.
remember what he did in the second game.
Okay.
So he had a really nice goal where he came late into the goal. I tried to watch it, but I can't tell if I watched the most recent one or one he's done in the past. But it seemed like he came late into the box and a pullback pass. He just put it away. I get if that's the one that happened.
All right,
But
could be one of those videos where it shows highlights of the game and then
I
you
should.
go,
It was a. I tried to watch one and it was a video game, and I was like,
I
okay,
know, right? You watch
okay.
it for a little bit, then you get to the end, and this guy's playing a video game.
You're
Yeah,
like, oh, that is not. Those
they're
aren't
very.
real people.
The
You know.
video games are realistic. They look like real games
I
as
thought it was
well.
weird that they did not. They didn't allow us to see some of that stuff live. It was
So
ridiculous.
we've been kind of like linked now because we're getting into that already. It's early in it, but there's a lot of talk about links of forwards,
Yeah.
and I just wondered, out of the ones that we seem to be linked with, if anyone has a preference, and the names that are coming up, obviously Ivan Toney has been there for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ollie Watkins is a name that has been mentioned, but then there's one in particular that is getting a lot of talk, and that's the guy that was at Coventry City and
Swedish
is
player.
now at
Bucharest,
how do you say that?
Bucharest.
Him, that's the
Bucharest
one,
or
Gyökeres.
Bucharest.
And then there's another one, isn't there, called Sesko, who's a little bit rawer. And I just wondered, like, if anybody has a preference. I think Victor Osimhen is also in the conversation. If anyone has a preference, or if you have another name that's not in these ones, I just wondered if you had any thought.
Steve,
Because for me personally, Gyökeres and Sesko, I can't tell you anything about them. I've never really watched them play. I've never watched them play, so I can't tell you nothing.
yeah. So we're talking about potentially winning the Champions League in the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully. And so is the approach where you get a striker that may not be, or a forward who may not be the finished article right now, but can be in 2 or 3 years.
All right, well, look at the two in England first, right? If it was out of Watkins and Tony, who's a better fit? I know you liked Tony for a while. I know you liked Tony for a while.
Yeah. So can I change my mind? Maybe I can change my mind.
No? I will say one thing that I heard the other day, and again, it was Troy Deeney that said it, who I don't really like that much. But
right.
You know, he does play as a forward, and he made a comment where he said for him, Ollie Watkins is a winger playing as a forward, and Ivan Toney is a forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could be the thing, you know. I think Liverpool have operated for many years buying forwards that can play anywhere, almost anywhere across their front three. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way modern football has gone. There's a lot of players out there. There's Gyökeres. There's Isaac now that we're talking about from Newcastle.
I don't know anything about Gyökeres. I'm just like, he was at Coventry recently. Okay.
Yeah. There's
you know what, I like to say they all offer us something.
Yeah.
And they all have some
you have
cons
a preference,
that we
Gary,
have,
out of Tony and Watkins.
They all have some cons that we have to deal with, you know, because for me, like Tony will his attitude clash with Arteta? Is Watkins really gonna pan out for us? Like it always seemed like Watkins' name came up many times over the last number of years, but it always for me felt like he wasn't getting he wasn't going to give us what we needed. Like he was lacking something, but the numbers say otherwise, right?
Like he's improved. Do you think he's improved over the last?
He's one of the top. He's one of the top GA guys in the league. I think he's number 2
third.
or 3.
I think. Yeah.
So he's doing really well in the league right now, and
high with assists and goals.
Yeah. He's doing really well. Will it translate? Gyökeres, I think, is a young player that Arteta can mold.
How old's Gyökeres?
26.
26, but he's not that young.
Yeah, Sesko's younger.
No, it's still a guy.
The younger one. Sesko's like 22, maybe 21.
Well, you know, when you're looking at Tony, and Tony's what, 28, 29 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So Sesko, I don't know anything about. Isaac availability is going to be a big problem. We cannot bring in players that can be available.
I do like BX Gunner bringing Isak into the conversation. I like that. I do like BX Gunner bringing that in because I like that guy a lot. Alexander Isak at Newcastle.
Isaac, Injuries.
That's the worry, isn't it? That is the worry. If you can get injuries at Newcastle, you're definitely fucking getting them at Arsenal, man.
Because Arteta is going to make him do all this extra stuff. We know it, right? And if he can't do the usual stuff and then score for us,
my bags.
It's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. So I think that's the problem with Isaac. Is just the injuries are going to hurt us, and we can't spend whatever it's going to cost 80 mil to get a player who's not available.
Gary, you've been sitting on the fence. Tony or Watkins, first of all? Out of them two first.
Tony and Watkins. Oof.
Who are you picking? Who would you have?
Damn it!
Yeah, let's do an elimination
All right.
round like
So
that.
yeah. All right. So yeah.
Let's look at
I'm
the
gonna
English
go.
guys first.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Watkins.
I will go along with Watkins as well.
I mean, it's really that's tough.
Change my
It is.
mind.
It's
Yeah.
It is
tough, isn't it?
tough. It's tough.
Mhm.
But you know, I think Watkins is a little bit younger.
More mobile as well.
He's a little bit younger, right?
Yeah, he's
So
younger,
I'll
but
take
Oh,
that.
what you're thinking about?
I'll
Like you
take that.
can't teach an old dog new tricks. Is that what
Well,
you're
no, I
thinking?
think we need him for long.
Like
We need
Tony.
whoever we bring in for longer. Like
we're looking 3 to 5 years here, Stan. We're looking at a 3 to 5 year window.
Terry Henry started as a winger, right? He did well as a
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
you know,
Watkins is a model Arteta player, and he's an Arsenal fan. Ollie Watkins is. So
you know what? How
never
many
heard-
times has that ever panned out for us?
I
So,
don't know.
so the thinking is now then that we like Ollie Watkins ahead of Tony now. Because
right,
Ray,
yeah.
Ray, you were really pro Tony for a while, weren't you?
You know why?
Yeah,
You know why? Because there was
it was.
nobody else, and we could have, you know,
Okay.
and I would have liked to have seen us go
All
and
right,
get Tony
okay.
before.
So we've just
before
taken
the
Ivan Tony
suspension.
off the board. Then he's off the board.
He's
So
gone.
let's put Osimhen on the board now
Okay.
for 112
I don't think
million
we can afford
pounds.
to spend that much money on one player.
112
he's-
million pounds.
Is he going to give us? Is he going to give us Rice vibes? Like,
Potentially.
are we gonna
We're
go?
looking at
I don't care
potential.
how much it costs.
Do you
because
rate
I'm
Osimhen, Gary?
Because I'm
Do you rate him?
laughing.
Do you rate Osimhen?
It always feels like he like disappears
Italian
in
league,
games
isn't
and
it?
stuff. That's what it feels like sometimes, you know. And I don't know if it's because of the way that they play and stuff, but I just feel like it's a lot of money. And you know what? It's a lot of money for what he's going to have to acclimate to the Premier League, right?
Okay.
I don't.
So would you
He's
take Watkins
is it-
ahead of Osimhen?
yeah. Watkins is doing it right now.
Yeah.
We're already,
Okay.
like I said, this is the same thing when we brought
It's a
in
gamble,
when
isn't
we
it?
brought in
Yeah.
Havertz, right? It was like Havertz, you don't have to do whatever you were doing at Chelsea. We got it all covered all around you. You just got to find your place. You'll be okay, right?
So
Watkins
you
is doing it
think
in the
that
league.
Watkins has the edge over all of these like the Agarakis and Zeskos because he's already doing it in this league. There's the less
He's
of a
doing it in the
gamble.
league. Yeah.
So even some
it-
okay, let me
it-
throw another name in there just to fuck it up a little bit more. What about if I threw Vlahovic in there? Would that change anything? Or are you like still no, it doesn't change nothing.
No.
Okay.
I think we lost Ray. What happened? Did he kick himself
All
out?
right.
I can
Well, that's
see
head
him.
to head. I
He's
don't know.
still around. Something must have happened. I can see him still in the back
But-
room there. He must be all right. Something must have happened at the house. So.
But
You know what?
so from what we have then forward wise, out of all of the options that are available,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think for me, Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney would be the stronger choices ahead of
Yeah.
the others, just because they're less of a gamble. We've seen them in this league, right?
Yeah.
It's
We
less-
don't need. We
Yeah.
need
I
like
like Osimhen. I
we
like
need
Osimhen,
answers and not enough.
but
We
the
don't need
Italian league
those.
is a different league,
Yeah.
isn't it? Italian
Yeah.
league is a
We
very
don't need those
different league.
questions. Those questions are too.
Right there.
We can't afford to have those questions right
That
now.
question's going to cost 112 million pounds. It's a
Yeah.
big fucking question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Robbie One Kenobi said you need a bad man like
Who's Dovvik?
No.
Is that how you say it?
Girona.
Who's
Girona.
Dovvik? Is he at
Striker.
Girona?
Yeah,
You think-
Girona.
Okay, I know that Girona are doing really well. They're like
Man
they're
City
doing really
vibes.
like well than what people, but I don't know the players. So he's
No,
the one.
I mean
that
they were second, right? And they were leading the league for a bit.
Yeah.
But then
they've come out of nowhere,
then-
aren't they?
yeah.
Man City feeder
okay.
club.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they have Man City connections. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
Isak,
some of their
Isak.
players.
Isak, I would take Isak ahead of Watkins, but the fitness is the worry. I think Isak is the best.
worry.
I think out of all of them, I think Isak is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, Isak
He's
gives
great in our
people
team. The way he
gives
plays.
people Henry
What?
vibes and
He's
and
very
stuff
good.
like that. So
He's
I
brilliant.
could see Osman. I could see Osman in the Champions League final with Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I could see that as well.
I
He
just
looked a
feel
bit
like we
ropey
have.
at the Africans
Think
Cup,
about
didn't he?
like, the reason why for me it's a caution is because yes, we need a striker, right? But we need a right wing, right? We need a right wing, whether they
Henry.
start or not. I don't care,
That's
right?
the thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we need like is Fabio or whatever you call him? Is he really and truly the good backup to Erdegaard?
No, not
Not
good
not
back.
yet.
Right?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
So do they want to wait longer to
Hasn't
figure that
proved.
out? Right? That's a question there. Is Jorginho and so for me in the midfield, right? You've got our starting three, right? Of Erdegaard, Rice, and Jorginho most likely, right? Do we have
Henry.
answers behind them? Is
When
Partey staying?
these last 10 games are going to be really important for a player
Yeah.
like Teabag, because we're going to find
Yeah.
out now whether we can count on this guy or what
Yeah.
he's made of.
Well, this
last
guy,
chance saloon for that guy.
Yeah.
the game after City is
Emil
Luton
Smith
Town.
Rowe as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Luton Town, I think, on a midweek Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the Luton Town game next Thursday.
True.
On the next Thursday night
Yeah.
for him.
Because I feel like we need one or two players in the midfield. I think we still need another player behind our center backs, and then we're gonna need a number 2 goalkeeper. I mean,
Well-
those are 5. Those are potentially 4 or 5 players we need to
We
bring
gotta
in.
we gotta roll what we have right now, Gary. We gotta roll with. And
Dude, the question was, we're talking about tomorrow. We're not talking about today.
okay.
Tomorrow, that's what we're talking about, Ray.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
So we're talking about, like, for me, 4 or 5
Yeah.
players still, I think, to come in. And can we do that all in one window if we spend a lot of money on Osimhen? I think
We did
it'd
we
be
did
a
4
challenge.
last season.
Yeah, we need 4 or 5 this time around.
I think it'll be.
But
another
also, I
3 or
feel
4.
like we might have a player in the academy that maybe we can bring in to kind of grow as well. I think
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we should do that, but I mean, I know it's a risk there as well.
I
But
think
I'd rather take a risk on our own players than
I think we've
what
got
else
to,
is-
Gary. We've got to bring at least one in, bring some players through from the academy, at least 1 or 2. And we've seen Nathan Waneri
Yeah.
get his contract today as well. So
Yeah,
Gary,
their Brathwaite supposed to be, so like you have Brathwaite and you have Frimpong, right? Is that right back to give Saka some competition there?
right
I
from
think. I mean,
Germany.
yeah.
We'll have to generate some money from outgoings as well. And
No.
this has got to be the summer where we get decent money and we are master of in our own control of what we can
We
bring
should
in.
be able to get money right for Ramsdale. Some say
Nketiah.
Emil Smith Rowe, right? And
Yep.
Partey. If people look at Partey as a valuable player, he is. If he's not going to be playing for us, then we need to make some money from him when he
But
leaves.
seriously, would Stefan take Eddie Nketiah at Ipswich? Because you're going to have some teams coming up from the Championship
Sure.
into the Premier League that would be willing to use that money on an Eddie Nketiah. Maybe Leeds even. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
reunion with Tom.
there's teams in the league like Crystal Palace and whatnot that could also deal with
Crystal Palace,
do with a player like Nketiah.
West Ham, Wolves.
So, yeah. It doesn't ever seem to work out that Oh wait, where does Watkin plays for who? Plays for Villa.
Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa.
Villa, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. Murillo from Forest. Maybe sign Wirtz from Leverkusen. Look, there's going to be a lot of players as well. And some people are talking about a Zubimendi as well to upgrade our midfield because, our midfield's getting on a little bit in age, Gary. And
True.
if you've got to go check on something, that's
I don't
fine.
think Stefan is appreciating your Eddie.
My suggestion, right?
Yes, he's not a fan.
Furman Lopez, yeah.
Hey, if you want a man that can score 3 goals against who's it?
It's
Southampton.
been out there all night, man. It's fucking 2 days.
Sheffield United.
They're
Then you know what?
staring at me.
Eddie's your man.
Fucking scaring the fucking life out of me. It's like the fucking Omen.
What is he talking to us?
I feel like we should mute this conversation. No,
Were you talking to us
What's that?
or?
Oh, did
You
you?
were talking- I'm like, what did I do? Like, what is he cursing?
We
He's screaming at me.
We got this tree by our balcony, and obviously there's no leaves on it because there's no leaves at the moment. And for the last fucking 2 days, I've been coming home from work about 4 o'clock or whatever, and this fucking crow is sat there. You never see birds at night. I was like, where do birds go at night? You never see them.
I was just thinking that the other night. Did he go to sleep?
Well, this
Or did they
fucker
fall asleep?
sits in the tree, and it sits all night. I go out, it's just there. And my missus is like, what does he want? And I'm like, I think he wants one of our souls. It's like the Omen.
I know, yeah. You know what?
Jeepers creepers.
Gotta put
Oh.
that crow down and get that guy to run away,
Listen,
man.
we have to know is where we live, right? You get crows, and then at a certain time, you'll see all crows in the sky, and they go somewhere. They go across the water, and they live somewhere. That's what they do. They don't stay in the city. But this one fucker keeps landing right on this tree, and I go out there, and it's just staring at me. Just one crow from 4 o'clock all the way around, and then it's just like, what do you want?
Robbie One Kenobi thought you were cutting a promo like The Rock there. The crow got your mark, Stan.
Yeah, the crow's like, yeah, you're coming from. I'm coming to get you.
It's creepy.
Like Jeepers Creepers, it sees something in you it wants. It wants something.
No, you know what? That's where there are players in the league we can get like you said, a Watkins or a Tony, and maybe that keeps us from having to go offshore and get players, right? Because there's a limit there.
So yeah, listen, there's a lot of strikers out there now. I don't know if there's anything that is a perfect fit like a Declan Rice in our midfield.
Oh, that's where Gyökeres comes in. He's still, like I said, he's still he's still a lump of clay that you can mold into what you want, right?
Done well at Coventry, apparently.
Yeah, he had a decent season. You can go from the championship, the EFL championship,
is it a gamble? You've got 80 million in your pocket, 90 million in your pocket, right?
Like
you got
Darwin Núñez was a gamble.
Yeah, got Watkins or Tony. Yeah, you got an age range, but they've played in the league. They know every opponent. Or you've got all these other names. And as much as I really was into Osimhen for a while, but the more I think about it, he's playing in the Italian league. Doesn't mean he's going to be a fit. It could be a Lukaku all over again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, can we afford to take these kind of gambles? We should go with a better bet. And for me, the better bet is Tony or Watkins. I'm honestly not sure which one I prefer because I don't
Premier
think
League
there's
proven.
much. I'm not sure, but I would rather have one of those two. I think.
Yeah. I think it's gone on a season or two longer than we needed to go on, and we're not going to know. We don't know what it's going to look like. But I will say one thing, Stan and Gary. I do trust Arteta and Edu and the profile of player that we've been bringing in the last 2 seasons as well.
Yeah, and they've done. Like I said, you find a Timber, and you're like,
all right,
yeah. I mean, who did we bring in the previous season?
For every Timber, there's a Cedric.
No, that's the thing. Who stood out in the previous
4 years ago?
Who stood out in the previous season?
Probably it was Tavares and Lakonga.
So you're giving me the people that didn't stand out in the previous.
You had to go there, dude. You had to go there, Ray.
window.
You had to go there, Ray.
So you're basically just.
I got to give him something to work with. Jesus, Zinchenko.
Okay, all right.
Should I keep going?
No. You know what? when he started with like. Okay, this guy is not getting it, but Jesus and
Marquinhos
and Zinchenko. What they did was they showed us some of the positives of the roles that they were going to play, and then we saw some of the negatives, which in most cases, mostly it was, availability and defense, right?
Yeah.
So
do you know what I think as well? I think that we're really growing at a really exponential pace because. There was a time where Kieran Tierney was, the fucking de facto captain in many people's eyes. It was a great signing, but we did kind of outgrow him in what he does
Yeah.
as a player. No fault of his own, but it's more
Do
of
you
the way
know
that
what we
Arsenal has
loaded?
evolved. But
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying this is that I think we've done it again, and I think there are 2, maybe 3 players that we've now again evolved away from of what they
Levels.
can offer Arsenal.
Yeah. We've gone
Is
up a few
is
levels.
is Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, and Thomas Partey.
And we've gone beyond those as well,
I
Stan. We've
think we've
gone
gone beyond
beyond
those 3 players. I think
Yeah,
that we need what we need now is what those 3 players are no longer able to offer. What we need is a team with
Yeah.
the other players that we have and the style
Yeah.
that we play, and that's
Yeah.
quick. Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, they've only been on the scene not too long,
Yeah.
and
A
we've
year,
already outgrown them.
year and a half. Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
when you have a baby and every fucking
I could
6 months
tell
you've got to buy
you,
new clothes and shit.
Stan, I could tell you that Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko won't play at the Etihad, and we wouldn't really be bothered. You know what I mean? Because we have players who have proven to be better than them in Kivior and
Weren't they
Havertz.
supposed to be? Well, aren't we supposed to have a clutch of players that are supposed to be able to, for example, lead us into the Champions League? And I would say that one of the main reasons that we bought someone, Jesus, Zinchenko, Kai Havertz, and Thomas Partey have all been there.
Yeah.
They've all been there in one form or another. But
And
isn't it really weird that we've not been able to rely on 3 of those players and we're still into the quarterfinals? 3 of those players just haven't been there, haven't been around, haven't been
for the
available.
majority.
You know what?
Yeah.
Only Kai has.
That's why we always called for depth, right? We always called for depth, and that's what it looks like what we're seeing, right? We've not seen the same back 4 consistently for a while, compared to what we started the season with, right?
You're right, but
And
the ones that we bought with the experience, we've kind of surpassed them, and they've not even been available
you
to
know what,
do
and
their job. To be
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're this experienced ones that can
Yeah.
take you. We know what it's like. They're not fucking there. And we're still doing it. We are still doing it. That's
Yeah.
quite good.
Yeah.
They must have been bought with that in mind. Like, when we get into these stages, these players have been there. They'll be able to guide us. They ain't been available.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, like I said, I think that's just shown kind of what depth does for you, because we always talk about the depth that City has on their bench. We got it. We got it in different parts of our squad. So I like it. I think it's good, and we have everybody left me. What's going on here?
Sorry.
My cat needs.
I'm still here. I'm listening.
Yeah. Sorry, Gary.
You gotta watch out for your cat and that crow, man. The crow.
The main event.
I mean,
What does it want? It's just sat there staring at us. What does it want?
yeah. No, I lost my train of thought. What were you talking about? And
we were talking about outgrowing players and moving up.
Oh yeah, no. I was saying that Tom Canton would always say,
Yeah.
we need to be bringing in players that surpass the ones we have.
Of
So
course,
if Tony's not on his list because he says, is Tony that much better than Jesus?
Yes.
Like, is Tony like instantly our
3
number
times
9?
better. 3 times better. Twice as better.
But the things that Jesus offers you, you're not getting from Tony.
You will. You'll get him from Tony.
He doesn't Does he do like some of the?
They're very different, aren't they?
They're different. They don't play the same role, right?
Correct. But
So-
I think you get twice as many goals from Ivan Tony.
Yeah,
And
but
then
that's why there's a difference between the two, because one is quantified by the goals, which is what we want. Another one, I think, when it's working, it quantifies in like a nice build-up of play that may not end with him actually making the pass or taking a shot. So I kind of feel like that's kind of the difference between the two. So yeah, no, but I like the idea that we're bringing in players that supplant the ones we have. Like, we have Jorginho, but if they bring in a 6 or an 8 that is better.
Yeah,
That's
I just
what we
put it
need.
up here in the league. Ollie Watkins, 29 matches, 16 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
shabby. Not
He's
bad.
doing pretty good. I don't know. Is that
Season
not?
before that, 37 games. So
Mhm.
15 goals, 6 assists.
Yeah,
So that's pretty consistent.
yeah,
Last 2 seasons. Season before that, 35 appearances, 11 goals, 2 assists.
yeah. So he's
These are
got.
good numbers.
Yeah.
And then one more. Hold on, look at this
It's
one.
always been good
The
for
season
double digits.
2020 to 2021, 37 matches, 14 goals, 5 assists. So in 2020 to 2021, 37, 14 and 5. And then
Mhm.
the next time he played 37 games in the season, 2 seasons later, 15 and 6.
Mhm.
These are very good numbers, right? And
Mhm.
how many of these were substitutes? How many times was he playing on the wing? He hasn't always played through the middle. He's played on the wing quite a lot. These are quite impressive. I find quite like those stats.
Yeah, he's pretty decent player. Good for
Yeah.
double figures, and was on or is on the same wages as Eddie and Kedia. So there you go. 100 grand.
Yeah,
100 grand a week. You're getting more. You're getting more for that money. This time last season, at this stage last season, our goals for were 66 goals, like for, and 26 goals against. This season so far, we're at 70 goals for and 24 goals against after week 28. So basically, what I'm saying is we've arrived at a similar point in our season as we were at last season. And admittedly, we're 5 points behind where we were last season now. But we shot out of a cannon, No Arsenal pun intended, or Arsenal pun intended. We shot out of a cannon last season, Gary.
Yep.
Those stats last season: 66 goals for, 26 against, plus 40 goal difference, and we're at plus 46 right now. So we're pretty much at the same place as we were last season. Okay.
Yeah, I think we surprised teams, of course, last season, right? And so I don't think this season, even if we tried to play the exact same style, we would have been not necessarily caught out, but the teams would have been smart to it and had answers for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that we changed up one for the long term, because we need to have a style of play that's sustainable throughout the entire season, and not because we've seen turnover and we still are able to get what we want done. So if I told you, right, we wouldn't have Partey, we wouldn't have Timber, we wouldn't have Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
Tomiyasu available,
Martinelli
right?
for some stretches.
Well, just those 4 players really, because we had Martinelli for most of it. But if you said, like I said, if you said Jesus and Partey and Tomiyasu would be out, and we'll be able to, we're going to do even better than we did last season at this point, going into this last 10-game stretch. We're like, oof, but that's where we are, and that's kind of what that's Arteta. That's what he's built, right?
Yep.
Everybody was complaining about our scoring. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
They're saying that City and Liverpool are struggling.
Yeah, but we're all on pace for 90 points still. All 3 teams are on pace for 90 points, and maybe we're going to be here for about maybe another 10 or 15 minutes, but then we'll get out of here, and maybe we can look at the 3 run-ins as well. But Stan, our last 10 games last season, 4 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, 22 goals for in 10 games. There's just over 2 goals a game, but we're conceding 1.7 goals a game, or 17 for 10 games. The run-in last season was just not up to snuff.
When you're conceding as little goals as we are at the moment, you're going to have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the game, at the end of the day, if you really wanted to simplify how you play football, it's like, don't let any goals in and score as many as you can.
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
moment, we are in this, we're doing that ahead of anybody else.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
for me, really,
yeah.
what we've got happening on Sunday is a real barometer, a real measuring stick for us to really find out where we are.
Yeah.
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 We're gonna either come away with some kind of a humbling feeling, or we're gonna come away with our chest pumped out. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
of the two. That's where we are.
And as Stefan said, that was last season. Got to live in the present. I'm highlighting last season, Stefan, because here we are a year later. I think we have better individuals in our team. We have a little bit more maturity in our team, and those players who were young last season went through that experience and now understand maybe what's needed this season as well. You know what I mean? And I cannot see us in this run in against Liverpool and City posting 4 wins, 3 draws, and 3 losses. Because that's only 15 points. And Gary mentioned Tom Canton. I'm going to mention Harry Symeou. And Harry Symeou just had Arsenal down for 23 points out of 30 for this remaining run in as well. So I think we'll do better than that.
He had Arsenal finishing on like 88 points, I believe.
Yeah, 80,
I
88,
think he had,
87. Yeah.
I think he had the next
92
team.
and 93 or something for the other two.
And
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I mean, Harry is not a doom and gloom podcaster. He's
No.
he's a very positive guy, but I mean, he went through, which we haven't got, we're not going to do that, but he really went through the running for each 3 teams. And we do have the toughest running. And
Yeah.
obviously, you can only make calculations on paper. There's always an upset. Who knows? But, working it out the way that he did, I could see where he was coming from. But
Yeah.
we are the team that are letting in less goals, and we are the team that's scoring more. And if we can continue to do that, we maintain our position.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm hoping, BX said, I'm hoping Jesus' Champions League goals keep popping up. Yeah. We'll need to write that into the, hopefully all the way to the final and have that revenge game against Barcelona.
This is where that Luton game, right? That Luton game.
Yeah.
Going into I think, who do we play? Luton. This might be a good game for him. It's at home.
Well,
and if he's able to get like some good minutes in there, and also maybe, as you say, get some scoring,
we got City, Luton, and Brighton, Gary.
Yeah.
And the next.
But I mean, he needs a good game to get in and get his feet wet, right? And Luton would be a good one,
Yeah,
if he comes in.
Yeah. This
Because-
is where we need rotation as well, Gary.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he gets to come in and gets the rest, and then who knows who plays in the Brighton game, and then we go, and then that determines what we do going into the Bayern Munich match, right? As far as starters and stuff.
It's going to be very interesting because Mikel Arteta is going to have to do things he might not be comfortable with doing. He might have to start Fabio Vieira. He might have to start maybe a Trossard. He might have to start one of these players because we're going to play every 3 days. Every 3 or 4 days there will be a game now, Stan.
Yeah. I mean, this is where we need everybody to play their part.
Elneny.
And this could be the undoing, because I do think that Manchester City have a stronger squad than us when it comes to quality. They can lose a Rodri, which is important to them, but the person that comes in, yes, there may be a drop off, but it's not vast. The person that comes in is capable. The person that comes in could maybe walk into most of every other team in the league.
Yeah.
The same if they're goalkeeper, right? All of the positions that they have, they're very well equipped. Liverpool, they've been doing a lot with their youth this season, more than we have. It's been paying off for them. But I also think that, with youth, you've got to be really careful of when you put them in, because if you constantly put them in,
Yeah.
There's going to be inconsistencies because they're young. But I look at us, and we've got neither. We're in neither. We've got neither of those. We've just got this small nucleus of players that we can't afford to get any one of them injured, and they have to
Yeah.
be able to continue to play at the level that they have been playing of late for just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And we've got the toughest running. It's precarious for us. We're really on the
Yep.
we're really on the edge. It is what it is. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
I think we've done really well. We're in the top three. We're the only team that have beaten City and beaten Liverpool. Those teams have not won games.
We were the
We
only team to beat Leicester when they won the league, home and away.
Yeah, well, we have dropped silly points as well against Fulham twice. We've dropped 5 points to Fulham, and we've lost to West Ham, Newcastle, and Aston Villa. So, listen, I think it's going to be a huge game. We've won 8 in a row to bring it to this point of where we are competing with the other two teams now. A three-way race at the top. City have got 2 first teams. That's a podcast for another time as well. City have got 2 first teams. Whatever happens, Arsenal got the purchase in the summer to sustain some kind of a momentum. All right.
And we will.
Anything else to bring to the table before we get out of here?
We will buy in the summer. We've already made 91 million up until this point, just in the Champions League, without any other kind of money going in. You know, we've already overdrawn and pulled levers at the bank to get money in. I think we're going to be very flush this summer, and that the owners. It's funny, isn't it, how things have changed? You know, the owners really seem to be doing everything in their power to make sure that funds come into the team to improve. These owners are winners. You look at their sports portfolio and the other teams that they have, they all seem to be doing very well in their irrespective fields.
Yeah.
And the Premier League is a showpiece as well. And I believe that they want Arsenal to win, and they're going to continue to back. But anyway, I'm going to say thank you for being on. Good to chat to Gary and yourself as always.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody popping in every Thursday. Those of you that are a new face, like Kenobi, if you're still with us, we also do this on a Sunday. We have a Sunday show. So we usually do that at 11 o'clock, my time, Pacific. So that's not going to be long after the Man City game. You know, it should be maybe half an hour or so after the City game will be on. And you can catch us every Thursday. So up the Gunners. And when I see you all on a Sunday, I really hope that we're celebrating.
I hope that you have survived that crow as well, Stan. You know,
yeah. Got to get past the crow first. Got to get past our brand knee.
I think last year we were an emotional team and we played like it. I think this year we're a much more mature, steady, big team. Set pieces could be big on Sunday as well, and that could work in our favor. We got a goal up at Anfield through a set piece, and we got a draw up there. There's no reason why we can't do something similar like that at the Etihad. Gary, anything to add before we go? And we are out of here.
No, nothing more. Like I said, I'm looking forward to see how we play in this. This is our next. This is the biggest test we're going to have all season. Because this one is the next one, but also it is one that I think will have. It has a lot riding on it, and we need to see our team take a challenge like this and actually see it through. Right, this is a big challenge for us. We come out of this thing 4 points ahead of City. That hopefully gives them the mentality that look, we can do it. We just got to keep, but we got to do it on the next one as well. Just like when we beat Liverpool, what did everybody say after that? Well, how do they do in the next match, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We beat Manchester City. You go to Luton comes to
one
town.
Game at a time, right?
You have to you have to respond every time. So we're gonna have to respond to everything that comes up every game. And I'm looking forward to it. Arteta, he's doing what we want. I think a lot of people have also said, if he doesn't make it through the challenges this season, he should be gone. It's like, well, I don't know who you're bringing in that's going to get us where we are today and continue it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to start all over again. And is that what we want to do?
Sure.
So I like to think that the Cronkies and all of that are in this thing to win, right?
Yeah.
Not only in this thing to make money, because that's going to happen. But you get more money the more you win. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So
Somebody also said to me today, and as a final point, stability in management brings success. So Pep has been there, Klopp has been there, and they've seen success. Don't be a Man United, don't be a Chelsea, don't continually chop and change. This weekend is going to go pretty slow, but enjoy it, and then the game will be upon us before we know it. That was the Thursday Night Forum. Thanks, Stan and Gary, for dropping in and chatting. We'll see you on the next one. Take care and go check out Gary on Saturday morning. Okay.
yep,
Take
yep,
care,
we got-
everyone. We're out of here.